Welcome back, everybody, to another edition of the Dirty and Driven podcast. Some people say it's the best podcast, the west side of the Arkansas, and I would have to agree. I'm currently your host today, Casey Anderson. I have someone in front of me that's looking me in the eyes, grinning, because this is the first time I've ever done the opening statement. But we're going to get some info on this special guest. Some of you might know him as the main squeeze, the head honcho, the head dude in charge.
The big swinging dick.
That's the self-proclaimed big swinging D. Mr. James Deviney. How you doing, James?
What's up, man? It's a pleasure to be here today.
What up, what up?
What up?
James, I'm glad you could spend a few minutes with us.
Yeah.
I got a few questions I'd like to ask you.
Yeah?
But before we do that, how you been?
I've been good, man. How have you been?
You're getting nervous already.
I got nervous, man. I started
Damn,
stuttering. That's all, folks.
And I also said I have a few questions to ask you, but before that, how have you? I asked you a question when I wasn't. All right, I already caught a mistake on me, so.
You did fine. You knocked the intro out of the park, Casey. Good job.
Man. So what's up? Anything new since the last time we talked?
No, man. No, none at all.
You're going to be one of them hard guests,
I'm going to be one of them hard guests. I'm going to make you work for it today.
All right, dude.
No, man. It's just been, I don't know. When's the last time we talked? Like 2-3 days ago?
More than that.
It's just gotten hot as balls outside. It's raining again. Last time we talked, it was raining.
Yeah, which when this comes out, you will have heard us talk about the storm that moved through and how we needed to make sure we rolled up our windows. Dude, I was telling my wife about that. Dude, I was rolling again, man.
Yeah, I loved that bit. Yeah.
You talking about riffing. That was good.
Yeah. Now, guys, you may think, is this a Tuesday episode? But no, man. It's the full-fledged taco, baby. The Friday.
Yeah, this is the zinger right here.
The big F.
And the kicker is we're trying to come up with the name. The tables turned, the two turntables, turning the tables around.
2 turntables and a microphone.
Or one table and 2 microphones.
One stable table and 2 microphones.
Yeah. But what we wanted to do today, when we get into it, is find out a little bit about James, the Dirty and Driven project, and some other little things that both he and I have going on. We wanted to hopefully articulate those things. I screwed up saying articulate, dude.
That's Are you nervous? Are you nervous being the regular host?
Yeah, dude. But I think we're in uncomfortable zones right now,
I know,
man. This is crazy.
I know it. This is wild.
This is like trying to swing or throw with the opposite hand.
Yeah. Throw what? Just throw?
Yeah, just like catch.
Oh.
The old term, throw like a girl. I wonder who came up with throw like a girl.
I don't know.
Some asshole, huh?
I know some girls that can throw pretty hard.
Yeah.
Yeah, so today we're going to be talking about the Dirty and Driven project a little bit more. I've come to realize that we have a lot of listeners, a lot of followers that they don't really know what all we do here, and that's because we don't really talk about it that much. We just talk about other stuff. So it's just good to refine our goals, our message, what we're doing every now and again. So that's kind of what we're doing today. And for those of you that have been more picking up in the middle and towards the more recent times of us recording, then this is a chance for you to kind of learn who I am, a little bit who Casey is. If, like I said, you didn't listen on early, which I wouldn't wish anybody to go back and listen to some of those early episodes because they fucking sucked.
No, man, I think they're great, man.
Yeah, no, I mean, it just, the audio quality one is good. And I wouldn't say we have any bad episodes, in my opinion.
No, and if they were somewhat bad, a great learning experience to grow on, right?
Yeah, it's growth. And you can listen, if you listen to all the however many episodes we have out now, it's definitely come a long ways. So the timing of this is cool, Casey, because I don't know if you realize, but it's actually been 1 year, almost to the day, since the first episode was released.
Really?
Yeah.
Damn.
So the first, I don't know the exact date. I'm not keeping track, but it was in July of 2022 that the first episode came out. So we've come a long ways in that year.
Well, and I'm celebrating with another Iron Monk Brewing Company. It's got old Pistol Pete on there, OSU.
Same as last time.
Yeah, same as the Tuesday episode. Pretty good stuff, man. I have to admit, I'm
I like that stuff.
kind of starting to turn into a beer snob lately.
Are you?
I had one for lunch also.
You had
I had an
one for
F5 at the Rib Crib.
See, I don't like F5s.
Nah, dude, I got 3/4 of the way. And I had to choke just to get three quarters of the way, man.
Yeah, I can't. My mom kind of got into those for a little while, and I never. Those F5s are. I think that's made by Boulevard, right? Out of Kansas City.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
Those are nasty. That's like an IPA of IPAs.
Yeah, he asked me why the F5, the guy that bought lunch for me, and I said, well, I think it's due to, I was bullshitting. I was like, I think it's due to Oklahoma. I think it's a brewing company out of Oklahoma. This is how dumb I am. And the F5 is, the measurement of a tornado. And you know what the F stands for whenever they're doing tornado measurements? Do you actually?
I don't.
The F stands for Fujita. It's based on the Fujita scale. And F5 is something like over 200 miles an hour or more is the most extreme tornado. And anything lower than that is obviously in the hundreds and 130s.
Dude, you sound so white. It's pronounced fajita.
No, instead of the Japanese measurement scale, it's the Mexican measurement scale because it's the fajita scale.
Fajita scale.
Yeah.
The old fajita scale.
It's like how fast can a tumbleweed spin down the road? That's the fajita scale. I don't know. I was trying to do a stereotypical,
Southern, Western, dusty, dry town.
Yeah, you heard of Alva, Oklahoma?
Yeah.
Well, my dad was born and raised there, and my grandparents were from there. We always visited a bunch when we were grandchildren. But people would ask, what's in Alva, Oklahoma? And I said, dude, nothing blows through Alva, Oklahoma except for tumbleweeds and grandchildren, because that's pretty much all there is there.
Yeah, it's a nothing town.
Yeah.
I say that. I haven't been to Alva in a long time.
But dude, it
might be a very nice town. I don't know. It's actually been a long time since I got there.
No, it's a great town. I'm not going to try to save myself, but it had, where my dad was born and raised, those farm ponds, all spring-fed canyon ponds, to where you could literally go out in our little flat-bottom boats and you could see 15 or 20 foot down in the spring-fed pond. You could see the fish all the way down at the bottom. And I remember before I was tight lining with dead minnows, catching crappie, and I'd have my face real close to the water, and I could see the crappie down there looking at my lure, literally 15 or 20 foot down, and a little small crappie would come up to it, and I'd be and I'd take the bait, and I'd take it towards the big one. You know what I mean? That's how awesome those ponds were, just so clear, silt free.
That's really cool.
Oh, they were awesome, man. Top water, they're just amazing ponds, man.
A lot of springs up there.
Yeah, but you know what was kind of sad the last time I went there? It's been a few years. I went out to the home place where my dad was born and raised, and started going there, and I started seeing pipes. Started seeing poly pipes going through the ditches. And the closer I would get to the ponds, there's like 5 or 6 ponds you could see from the road. You come up and you see pumps on top, and they were pumping all the water out of them ponds to do fracking out there.
Oh.
And all of them badass ponds with the fish and stuff that we grew up catching were like just nothing.
Don't you think they'll come back though if they're spring fed?
Yes, but then you imagine all the live, all the fishies and
all
stuff.
All the fish died, yeah.
Yeah, not all of them were spring fed. Lot, there were some, but it just, damn, that's like there's a lot of ponds around here, even though we've been getting rain recently, that they're just drying up. Mm-hmm. Tough.
Yeah, there's a lot of ponds. I went, and last year I bid a job for this neighborhood. Their pond was just a drainage pond, but turned into a nice little neighborhood pond. And they were so concerned last year whenever we had, I don't know how many days in a row, it was like 90 some days in a row of over 100-degree weather. Well, every pond in Oklahoma, or at least in our part of the region, was dry.
Yeah.
I mean, bone dry. And they're calling us, hey, can you come and dig this pond deeper so it doesn't do this again and this and that, which, it's a neighborhood with an HOA. They're not going to pay for it. They're not going to be able to afford it. But it was just sad. I mean, because all the people in the neighborhood were genuinely sad that there's just, you get out there, there's thousands of dead fish.
Yeah.
And it sucks, but it'll come back.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of that going on right now. Unless if you bring in clay and really get it down at the bottom, or if you bring in liners, pond liners, and do it that way, then that's going to happen.
Yeah, that stove eventually can dry up though. Whenever it's just that hot for so long.
Damn, global warming, man. All these internal combustion vehicles out there. All right.
You can get fired from your job for saying that.
No, because they know I was being
facetious.
Yeah, I was going to say I was going to try to
Fajitas.
Yeah, really butcher the word, man. No, dude. I think anybody and everybody knows my admiration for the oil and gas industry.
Yeah.
I was thinking about that again today. They were talking about, hopefully, here we go with a quick political rant. I know this is a deal for you, but they're talking about hopefully by 2030 or 2033, some stupid number, having all literally gas burning, diesel burning vehicles weaseled out to maybe down to 30% left. It's some number like that, something just ridiculous.
Yeah.
And then, everything being electrical vehicle. I was like, dude,
it's not realistic.
But all they do looking for like the greenhouse savings with electric vehicles is literally when they're going down the road. They don't look about everything that it takes to produce those vehicles. And then what it takes to produce the components and everything for those vehicles is fossil fuels, right?
Yeah.
And then also, where was I going with this damn rant? I just lost myself.
I can tell you, I've done extensive research on that. I will do that rant. I'll do that rant on a Tuesday episode. I'll talk about my take on electric vehicles. Maybe we just make that a whole Tuesday episode.
Yeah, we can do that. But where I was going and the infrastructure too. You'd have to plan your routes everywhere you go. And how do you think the charging stations get their power to charge the vehicles?
Yeah, and that's all part of it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So we'll break that down. We'll do a full, because I've read a couple.
James still has it, dude. He knows when to step in and take over. I love it.
Buddy.
We got it.
We'll break that down, man, because I can go on a long rant about all that.
And if I see you getting off course a little bit, and to stay in line, I'm going to call you out. Okay.
All right,
dude. Saw you getting a little squirrely over there. You started kind of shimmering a little bit.
Shimmer.
Got the old viper tongue going.
The pit viper tongue.
So, Mr. James, back to this dirty and driven deal. First, I want to start off blue collar wise. I know you might have touched up on it in the past. What's a little bit of your history, just getting into the blue collar world, just from growing up? A little quick tidbit.
Yeah. So I started out as a landscaper. That was my first dabble in blue collar world. I don't come from a blue collar background at all. My dad's a lawyer. He has always hired somebody to do everything. My parents were not the, do-it-yourself type of stuff on very many things. They'd mow their own lawn. They'd do a lot of stuff. But as far as like the sink's leaking, or the lights are flickering, or there's a little hole in the driveway we need to fill, we're going to call someone, they're going to fix it. Something like that. So I never really was around that vibe at all. I was not raised blue collar with people that knew how to work with their hands. My first exposure, the first time I ever learned that there was even a blue collar world out there, that was even a viable option that was cool and fun, was when I was 10 years old. My parents decided to build a swimming pool, and I was enamored by that. They dug all this dirt out, all this clay. First of all, it was cool because I got to watch my parents do a lot of stuff with like the city, because they had to get a building permit, and there was easements running all underneath their backyard. So getting that building permit was really hard. And to me, that whole thing was interesting. I didn't know what an easement was. I was 10 years old, but my mom explained it all to me step by step. I was very intrigued by it. And I got to learn, because I just went to swimming pool, and I was like, well, what's holding us back from getting a swimming pool? And they went through all that crap with the city. And so that was cool to me. That was kind of like a project management experience. And then this guy comes in with this clapped out old backhoe, and he starts digging this hole, and he's got this pile of dirt in one corner of the yard and a big old pile of sand in the other corner of the yard. And dude, every day after he'd leave, I'd go climb up on his backhoe. I'd be like, take a picture of me. And I'd just sit on it. I wouldn't touch anything. I wouldn't turn the key. I wouldn't move the stick. I'd just sit there, and I'd be like, whoa, this thing is so freaking cool. And I would watch those guys all day long. I'd climb on those sand piles and those dirt piles, like just climb up them. They weren't very big. It was like one it's probably a 14-ton pile of sand, just a dump truck load. And I would climb to the top, and I'd be so freaking ecstatic about it when they were digging it out. Like, I probably shouldn't have been doing this, but I would run in there after they'd leave, and I'd like go run around in the open hole. Like, I just had fun with it, man. It just was cool. I watched every process of that. So that's kind of what first introduced me to the construction world. Still never like really like after that I would have my mom like pull over, like if I'd see other big equipment, I'd be like, oh, I want to watch those guys. They're doing the stuff they did at the pool. And actually the asphalt company I went to work for, in recent time is I would see all their big piles if we'd go to Lowe's or something, and I'd be like, dude, what do I got to do to go play in those piles?
Yeah.
Like, I just want to run up to the top. Because, I mean, these are 20,000 ton piles.
There must have been something like being a kid doing that. I'm going to step in for a sec because those piles, whenever we'd play rec league softball, or back in the day, it was Conoco League softball when my dad worked for the refinery. And up here by Mertz, they called it Mertz Field, but Mertz was a little farther. No, it was a little over, but they called it Mertz Field, softball field. But when we couldn't play softball with my dad at that age, they had those big piles over there, huge sand piles and rock piles. And we'd, not only would we want to go run up and play in them, which we did, but we'd always get warned for some reason about, I don't know if you've heard this, about pockets being inside of sand piles. Mm-hmm. Is that true? That pockets can form? And we'd always warn, you can't go up there because there's pockets. And if you get up too high, then you'll fall in the pocket and you'll suffocate and die.
I think the risk of that, especially on like a sand pile or something like that, is probably there. I mean, that was always kind of a fear, because just climbing on those piles, because sand's like, it's like a bunch of little ball bearings.
Yeah.
That's how we describe it in an asphalt mix. So you run up that sand pile, and I mean, I could see where you'd be able to fall down and sink. Now, I don't know if there's air pockets in there.
Yeah, I think it was just a warning to keep us.
But I could see where you'd sink down. I could see where you could easily fall through sand and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Yeah. But ain't that something with just as a kid growing up with the piles and the heavy equipment and stuff like that?
Yeah. And I was fortunate too, because anytime an electrician would come or a plumber would come or something like that, my mom would sit there and she'd say, "You're going to come watch this guy." And I'd be like, and if it was just me, I would be interested because I wouldn't know how to do it. But
being told,
if I had a friend over or something, I'd have a friend that, oh, well, I already know how to do that. That's easy stuff. And I'd be like, yeah, that's easy, So I didn't. But my mom would make me watch those guys, and she'd make me ask questions. She'd make me learn. She'd just make me look over their shoulder and just be like, you're going to watch him so you know how to do this. And, sometimes as a kid, you're like, this is stupid. I want to go play outside. But has a lot of those skills come in handy? Yeah. I mean, I can think of a time when I was probably 12 years old and I had to watch an electrician change a power outlet. Mm-hmm. Well, I mean, whenever I moved into my house, I had to do that. And it was like, yeah, hey, I actually know how to do that because I watched an electrician when I was 12. So, I mean, that was kind of the early on. That's kind of what I guess got my mind thinking in that direction because, I mean, before that, obviously at 10 years old, I didn't know what the hell I wanted to be. I put on school, like they'd say, what do you want to be when you grow up? I would always ask my teacher, who's making the most money right now?
There you go.
And one time my teacher said, well, computer programmer's making the most money. I said, I want to do that. And then, a couple of years later, it was like, I was enamored with Lamborghinis. And I said, I'm going to own a Lamborghini dealership. I said that more as a spoof, but it was along those lines of like,
dude, I love Lamborghinis growing up too. I had the big old 8-foot poster or something on the wall of a Lamborghini Countach or something.
Yeah.
Man.
Yeah, and it's like, I've always loved Lamborghinis. In fact, the freaking background of my phone is a dirty and driven orange Aventador, as you can see.
Perfect. But a lot of my Lamborghinis would have like models in swimsuits on them when I was a kid.
Yeah. This is just the only picture I could find of this specific one. Also, I think my wife would not be happy if I had a model as my background. But no, that's so I would put that, and I'd put and being a lawyer obviously was always one of those options too. Of like my dad would you should be a lawyer. I'm building this law firm and stuff like that, and that's kind of where I got my business mindset was from him. Because I mean, whenever I was little, we didn't have money. He went out on his own. He went 2 years without taking a paycheck. Not very many people know that, but when he started his business, he went 2 years without a paycheck, and my parents never even like batted an eye. They never they never made us like know that there were money issues. They never let us. I mean, they just kept living life as it was, which was very middle class. It wasn't high life or anything like that. But that was pretty cool to see that business wise. But anyways, fast forward several years. When I'm 14 years old, my parents start telling me, well, we decided when you turn 16, you're going to have to buy your own car. And they gave my sister a car, so I was pissed. I was like, what do you mean I got to buy my own car? I'm 14 and I don't have a job. How am I going to get a car? I have no money. And they were like, figure it out. I mean, essentially, they were like, we'll pay half is what they said. I negotiated with them. They said, we'll pay half. So I was like, man, I want a car, but I don't want some shrinky-dink piece of shit beater. I was like, I want something nice. So I knew I had to go to work. Well, not many people are hiring a 14-year-old. So that's whenever the landscaper was working at our house, doing a lot of just various work, some retaining wall work, drainage work, and it was the same thing. You need to go watch him. And I'd go out there and watch him. Well, at 14 years old, he would say, well, I'll tell you what, I'll give you $20 if you just do some odd stuff for him, water all these plants after I leave, if you go get me some bricks from down by the fence, if you just small stuff. And he saw that, hey, you actually want to work and you're actually motivated. So he's like, I'll tell you what, I will come and pick you up for work every single day if you'll work for me over the summer and on your breaks and stuff. And I was like, yeah. And that was right before I turned 15. So that summer I was 15, he came pick me up every day. And it was, it's kind of all from there. I mean, that's where I did a whole episode with him about how it's just a miniature version of what I ended up kind of going into with construction. I mean, it was mini excavators. It was patios instead of highways. It was sprinkler lines instead of water lines, stuff like that. And I learned about the blue collar stuff there, and I learned about hard work there. And in the meantime, I've got my best friend who's a farmer, whose dad's a farmer, and I would work for him as well. Part-time. I would work for this guy full-time and I'd work for the farmer part-time just to learn some of those old lessons. And of course I'd always just be hanging out on the farm. That's where I'd spend a lot of my free time. And I would just do those two things. And man, I learned a lot about just running equipment and the whole culture, everything going on there. Well, fast forward a couple of years, I'm still doing kind of that same routine. I'm in high school and then it's coming time for college and I don't know what the hell I want to do. And my parents had a kind of a big dirt job they were needing done. Well, they call a local dirt contractor, and she kind of mentions how I'm working for a guy that does kind of this on a smaller scale. And he says, well, you ought to tell him to, go to college and get a construction management degree. And because at that time, my parents were like, you're going to go to college. And I was like, I don't really want to go to college. And they're like, you're going to go. What are you going to do if you don't? I was like, I told my mom I was going to start a business and be a millionaire. She's like, well, what kind of business? I was like, I don't know. She's like, you need to do something. So I was weighing my options. I was trying to figure it out. I was trying to see if maybe I could just go work for a construction company and work my way up. But then I was like, okay, that sounds cool. So I joined that route and then go through that degree program, and I work. I'm still working for the landscaper, and then I go work for a building construction company. And that was cool. I mean, I gained good experience from that. I had an amazing superintendent that I was under. Hard ass. I mean, salty, hates everybody, but him and I really got close that summer. He was really good to me, and I learned a lot from him. And it just made me want to be in the industry more. I knew I didn't want to do building work per se, just because it was a little too tedious for me. But that was whenever I was still working for the landscaper part-time. And I walked into the backyard of the owner of where I work now. And he said, hey, I heard you're going to go to school for this degree. If you want to come and work for me, then let me know. And at this time, I still want to build stadiums. That was my goal. I want to build football stadiums and stuff like that. And I said, well, I just have no interest in building roads. Thanks. I had no interest in the heavy civil side because schools push the building side so much, which is a different rant. But that's kind of part of the whole Dirty and Driven project thing. But then some guys did come while I was in college. They came one time. They said, hey, we're with this big heavy civil company here in, it was Allen Contracting out of Oklahoma City. I'll give them a shout out. They just said, yeah, we're we're a big heavy civil company. You guys should consider working in the heavy civil field. It's just pure, raw construction. And Casey, I think you've learned at this point in time that I'm like that kind of guy. I'm like a down-to-earth, grassroots. I like things as simple, raw as possible. There's a joke in there somewhere, I'm sure. But they just said it's rock, concrete, asphalt, dirt, big machinery. And I was like, that's all shit I like. And that's cool, man. You're connected to the earth. You're building. You are creating a product that millions of people use. And it's just incredible to think that you're a part of such a major thing that so many people use. So I was like, okay, I've got to do that. So I called up the guy that I blew off months before by saying I have zero interest in roads. And I said, hey, you remember how I told you that? And he goes, yeah. I said, well, I'm 18 years old and I'm kind of stupid. And he just laughed. And I said, I'm interested in coming to work for you. And he said, come talk to me. So I go talk to him. And that's where I really fell in love with the construction world, because I went and worked on an asphalt crew for a concrete company, for a utility company, down in the hole, hands-on, doing the shit, man, sweating, grinding. And I learned a lot in that time period, man. For 3 years, I did all that stuff. And then after that, I went into a more project management and estimating role, which is just different, you know. It's still kind of it's not quite blue collar, but it's not quite white collar in my opinion. You know, I'm still out there, I'm still sweating, I'm still doing stuff. It's different though, but there's a lot of people and their families that rely on me to do my job now. So anyways, in a nutshell, that's me.
Man, interesting, dude. I got a couple things on that I want to ask you about. For one, I know I've mentioned it to you before, but hearing you talk about your upbringing and with the way that your parents are, and I've seen it too. I mean, I know them personally.
Yeah.
And I've seen it with you and your brother and your sister, that I admire you, dude. I think what you're doing just in life, not only, you know, just being a friend with your wife, but then your drive that you have with your mindset, just your drive, just your workout routine, just work ethic in general. I've said it before, but you're a direct reflection of your parents.
Yeah.
And when you meet somebody and younger, I mean, you're younger than me, you're quite younger than me, but when you meet somebody younger and you see how well put together they are, a lot of times if they have a good upbringing with someone in the household, hopefully parents that are there to help guide them, then dude, that's huge. So shout out to your parents for giving you that kind of direction.
Yeah. I'm very fortunate on that.
So yeah, dude, that's great. Another deal that I was thinking about too when you were talking was just watching somebody work. There's not a better feeling than if you're doing something and somebody younger, especially a young kid, but even somebody my age, but more on the younger side, if you're doing whatever the work is, and you have somebody kind of eyeballing you, watching you, and not being a nuisance, but, hey, man, why are you doing that for? Dude, that somebody that has curiosity, that's interested in what you're doing, man, that's such a great feeling. So for those guys to be there, and then you be the curious kid, wanting to you have interest in whatever the heck they were doing, man, that's good that they were, I don't know about mentoring, but that's good that they were able to be able to bring you in and show you some of the stuff.
Well, they were. So I have a couple points on that right there, because when you're coming up, so I would drive my first boss crazy, and he taught me a lot, man. I worked for him, that landscaper. I worked for him for years, and we did a lot of projects, big and small, relative, but we did a lot of cool buildings. It wasn't just planting trees, and we didn't mow lawns. It wasn't that kind of landscaping. It was, you know, structures in people's houses and their flower beds. It was rocks and dirt and
retaining walls.
Walls. It was cool shit, man. And I was able to learn a lot of tangible, valuable skills from that. And I question everything. I have always questioned everything, man. From what my parents tell me as a little kid, my mom would tell me to do something. I'd say, why? And she's like, because I'm your mother. I'm like, that's not a good enough reason for me. Like, I get that that's a good enough reason for a lot of people, but at 5, 6, 7 years old, I would sit there and be like, give me a reason. I don't understand why you want me to do it this way. And I would not give up until she explained to me why I wanted it said, done, whatever, a certain way. And I always wanted to know why. I've always wanted to know why things work. And I look at anything, like I look at this table we're on. I dissect everything about it. I look at how did Casey build this? I look at what was this used for before? I look at all the shit on it. I just dissect everything I see, and I have to know why. And I do that with everything. I do not take anything that anyone teaches me without a grain of salt. I mean, it might be the best advice ever, but I'm still going to look into that and say, is what I heard legit? Why did they say it? What is their perspective on this? I look at everything from every perspective that I can. And so that's that. And on the work ethic thing, man, I think the reason why I developed a work ethic and why I want to pass that on to people, I'm really glad you actually made that point about my parents, because not everybody is as fortunate as I was with parents. Now, were times rough, more times than not in our household? Yeah. There was a lot of hostility in our household. And I think that just drove me. But I'm not going to get into all that personal family stuff on here. But whenever I would go out on a job site, I have a very distinct last name in this town, Deviney. Everybody knows who Deviney is.
Who the
That
mother?
That mother?
There he is.
Well, I mean, people hear Deviney and all they see is a lawyer's kid, right? They don't see a kid whose parents worked for everything they had, and they don't see a kid who grinds his ass off. And I'm glad it was like this, but man, I was picked on, bullied for the fact that I was in a blue collar community and I was the lawyer's kid. So like all the guys whose dads were blue collar construction badass dudes like that, all those guys at school and everything, man, they hated me because you're a lawyer's kid. You got it so much easier.
Yeah, but they'd probably sure like you if their father ever got hurt at work, wouldn't they?
Yeah.
Workman's comp.
Yeah, work comp.
Hey,
yeah.
What's up, James? I'm like, hey, buddy, you want to come over and stay the night now?
Hey, that was a hell of a settlement, Yeah. No, and my brother still gets it. I got it from a young age, man, and I never understood why. And I would ask my parents in like elementary school, and this is real shit, man. This happened to my little brother just a couple years ago. He had a friend at school and my brother, he's not as outgoing as I was, but he had a friend at school who he was, they were friends. And well, then one day his friend comes back just out of nowhere. My brother's trying to talk to him, and this is in middle school. And the kid says, I thought that you were a really cool, fun kid, but I learned that you're just another spoiled rich kid. And my brother's like, what are you talking about? And he goes, I found out your dad's a lawyer and I can't be friends with you anymore. And it's like, dude, what the hell, man? Like, that's the type of shit that we grew up, though.
Man, I hate to say it, though, but it was kind of the same way when I was growing up, too. There's that, I don't know if it's a stigma or what, but kids, when you don't know, when you get older, you understand. But when you're young, you don't know, and there might be jealousy involved, whatever the case is. But because it was that way with me growing up, we'd look at a lot of times, too, with people who had it, not had it, but people who seem to have it better than us.
Yeah.
The jealousy would kick in.
Right.
Then the hate, then you'd be talking smack just because you were somewhat jealous of the situation that person was in.
Right.
So it was common when I was growing up too, man.
Yeah. It's just wild. That
it's a lot of times it's youthful. It happens older. It happens being older too.
Dude, it's still, I think I've proved myself, at least in this community enough now that it doesn't follow me as much. But I mean, even whenever I was out on an asphalt crew, there was one point. So what my point with this is I had to work extra hard because people, especially whenever I got to like, whenever it was just me and the landscaper, it was cool, man. It was just, we were two dudes in a pickup going around conquering the world. We were beautifying the earth, as he would always say.
That's a good one.
Yeah. And then whenever I went to work for a building contractor, it was me and the superintendent, and there were a lot of guys on site, but a lot of them were out of town contractors. They didn't know who the hell I was. I was just that kid on site who just did odds and ends stuff. And I proved myself quickly with him because the first day I walked on a job site, I had a cast on my left arm, and he looked at me and he goes, well, that's a great fucking first impression. And I said, dude, don't let this cast fool you. I'm still here to work. And he's like, all right. And then he gave me a list of things to do. Not at all thinking, oh, I hope your arm's okay. No, dude, he just said, here's the shit you need to do. And I did it, man. I mean, it was hard work, dude. That is one of the most backbreaking jobs I ever had. It was a 3-story building remodel. And I was basically just doing all the odds and ends stuff, and I was knocking out walls. I was taking out trash for tile layers, which sounds like just taking out trash, but dude, I'm talking like they would fill these 55-gallon drums full of fucking tile.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I mean, it's
heavy. And there's no elevator, 3 stories, and it sucked, man. And I would do that stuff all day long. And then I spent 2 weeks hammering into bricks with a hammer drill. And that sucked, dude. It was the worst job I ever had in my life. Just hammering with this hammer drill for weeks on end for the HVAC guys to be able to stub into it.
Yeah, stick a duct through there.
Yeah, and it sucked, dude. I mean, but you learn from all that stuff, and there was more. I mean, there was a lot of just those shitty jobs like that nobody else wanted to do, and you couldn't pay anybody enough money to do except for me. You could pay me $10 and a quarter, and I'd be out there doing it. Filthy hard work, dude. But I loved it, and I wanted more of it. And like, sorry, I got off track again, kind of. But
you're good. I can take over if
the
you want.
work ethic. Whenever I joined an asphalt crew, people would look at me and they'd say, "Davini, why are you out here?" And it wasn't like, "Oh, hey man, how's it going?" It was, "Why are you out here? You're the lawyer's kid. Why are you out here doing this work?" And it was like, "Nah, dude, I'm just here." And like, I remember one day, I was telling my dad this story yesterday, actually. It's Saturday. We're on I-35. I had to skip a rugby tournament for this that I really wanted to play in. It's like 6:30 in the morning. I-35, we're on a bridge, about to lay asphalt. And like, there's this kid who's just shit talking there. I mean, there was 3 people on the crew when I first started that were just freaking mean, man. I mean, just nasty, scum of the earth type people, just not the type of people you want to be around. And thankfully they don't work there anymore, but they just were bitter people. And one of them was just sitting there hammering. Well, I start dishing it back, as I do. And he's like, "Man, the only reason you have this job is because of your dad." I was like, the only reason I'm out here on a Saturday for $13 an hour is because my dad is a lawyer. It's just shit like that. Like, so that made me have to work extra hard though to prove that, like, I'm not that guy.
He thought that was the jugular. That was the go-to.
Yeah, dude. I was like, dude, this fucking sucks right now. Yeah. And I had a football coach who asked me one time in high school, he's like, "Why are you out here digging all these holes and doing all this hard work and stuff, man?" He's like, "You're a lawyer's kid. You ought to be taking it easy." I said, "That's not how it works, brother."
Yeah.
So you deal with a lot of that stuff. But anyways, man, that's where my work ethic came from, was just proving to those people that, hey, I'm not that. I read, Mathis Brothers Furniture.
Oh yeah.
In high school, I read or saw an interview or something with his sons. I think he has 2 sons, and they were talking about how they had to do the same thing. They would go to work in the stores.
Good.
They're like, we had to work 10 times harder than anybody else there just to prove that we were as good as them. And they're like, we were better. We were harder workers than those people, but nobody gave us any credit because our last name was Mathis. And that's how I felt on a lot of stuff. So
it must have been Rit. Was it Rit Mathis? No, he might be my age now. Hell, I don't know. There were the old ones, and there was Rit. Then I'm sure Rit's probably 35 or 40 now. So who knows on that? Hey, when you were talking earlier about that, when that I don't know if it's an asphalt company, when they came into college and they kind of recruited you, got you interested. Mm-hmm. What was that company's name?
Allen Contracting.
Allen. I was thinking, how successful do you think those recruiting trips are when they come into college and speak with kids?
Dude, it's all about exposure.
Obviously, they made an influence on you.
Yes.
Obviously, it worked, but I was just curious in general.
Yeah. So, and they had 2 guys who'd gone through the program come, and that's kind of why they talked. They still had a relationship with the teachers and stuff. But I think it can be beneficial if you do it right. They came and talked to our classroom. They had pictures, they had videos of heavy equipment. It was cool shit, man. They did it right. Now, there's been dozens of companies that would come through. They'd give these boring ass presentations. But these guys came in, they're like, "Yeah, dude, here's us blowing a bridge up. Here's us tearing the bridge down.
Yeah, now you're speaking to me.
You know,
speaking my language.
Here's 20 concrete trucks backed up. We're pouring a bridge deck. Like, it's cool shit,
Making
man.
it sexy.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And that is what we need in this industry is exposure. People need exposure. I've taken so many people out to job sites and they go, I didn't even know this was here. I didn't know this was an option. I didn't know what all these big heavy machines were. Everybody drives by and in a work zone, they're usually looking at their phone. They're in a hurry to get somewhere and they're pissed off because we're holding them up. They don't stop and look at the big picture of what's going on. They don't look at the machines, and some of them are closed off and they don't see it. But I've never seen somebody on a job site that's visiting, you know, you take someone out there that's not just enamored by it because it's a cool world. And you're like, whoa, I'm watching this get done right in front of my eyes. And that's kind of what these guys did. They just showed it as this is just raw, man.
So whenever those landscaper guys were out there and you walked up to them, you end up getting a job at one time, right? When you were younger?
Yeah.
And that led into you go and you speaking with, I believe now, your future employer.
Yeah.
And he had mentioned you go get this construction engineering degree, you come out, I'll have a job for you.
Pretty much.
Is that pretty much correct?
Yeah.
So
1, 2, 6 kind of thing. Yeah.
Yeah. So where I'm getting here is with what I've mentioned before is opportunities out there.
Yeah.
When you put yourself out there, make yourself known that you're driven and you're curious and you're willing to work, this kind of help lead your path into where you're at today.
Yeah.
So when you get out of college and you meet up with him again, not only did you get the job, but it's not like you started out at the position where you're currently at now.
Right.
You started out at the grassroots of the company.
Yeah.
Out in the field, doing the dirty work, doing the sweaty work, learning how all of that stuff works. Then you slowly promoted and progressed to where you're at now.
Yeah. So, I mean, like I said, you know, I spent years on an asphalt crew. I spent a summer living in a hotel, working on Fort Sill down in Lawton, Oklahoma. Doing that, man. I lived that travel contractor lifestyle and like I've lived the hard lifestyle too, man. I mean, during that time, I wasn't healthy. I wasn't driven. I wasn't working out. I worked from 5 a.m. to 7 or 8 p.m. just absolutely dog shit tired every morning. And I would go back to the hotel room and I would drink and I'd go eat at, some shitty pizza place or something. And I'd wake up, do it all over again. In fact, on Fort Sill, man, there's this food truck that I learned to eat at every day. They had it was called a Mexa-Asian fusion food truck. And they had this bulgogi beef burrito that was the best thing I've ever eaten in my life. And this food truck looked like it was about to fall apart. Like it looked like one good windstorm and this thing's gone. But dude, that's what I was living on, dude. I mean, that and Gatorade and freaking whatever the hell I was drinking back then. I don't even think I was 21 that summer, but yeah, man, that was life for a little while. So, I mean, I've been down those roads, that hard road.
Man, put in those days like that, because I think we all have, at least the blue collar people that have put in those hours, those hot days like that. Workout wise, hitting the gym and stuff, I know it can be done, but how feasible? Let's say you weren't partying and drinking and stuff. How feasible? Because you're going out, probably waking up 4:30 in the morning, going to work at 5, getting done after dark, have time to shower, eat, and go to get in a workout, and just do the grind like that.
Yeah, and I mean that's a different podcast I want to do. But I mean, I'm going to give you the nutshell. Don't give me that face. I know. I'm saying I want to break that down because there's actually a guy I follow, and I'm not saying everybody needs to do this, but like I've talked to concrete truck drivers who do that because concrete truck drivers. So I spent a while at a concrete plant, driving around with the drivers, kind of learning how all that stuff works. And one guy told me, he said, "Dude, I get up 2 hours before we have to go to work, and I do a workout." He said it's nothing crazy. But he's like, I do it because he said, I used to be fat as fuck. And he said, I don't want to be that anymore. He said, I looked like your stereotypical concrete truck driver. And he said, I don't want to be that anymore. And this guy's my size, skinny, thin, look good. And he said, like, he used to be over 300 pounds. And he goes, I turned that around.
Yeah.
And that's incredible. So it is doable. There's a guy that I follow on Instagram. His name's Garrett Sharp, supporter of the show. Shout out Garrett if you're listening.
Gang, gang.
And he gets up every freaking morning. He posts on his Instagram story a picture of him at 3:30 a.m. working out, and then he goes and welds all day. So, I mean, it is doable. I'm not saying everybody has to do that, but, you know, as far as exercise, all that, because that's a big part of Dirty and Driven is health and fitness. And 10, 15 minutes a day is really all you need sometimes.
Yeah.
I mean, you can get a lot of workout done in 10 to 15 minutes. So if you say, I don't have time or I'm too tired, that's just excuse. And even if you've been working physically all day, it's still good to do some sort of functional workouts to keep your body in check because some of that stuff you're not using good form and you are tearing your body apart. So it's good to still intentionally build muscles.
Yeah, just the basic mobility.
Yes. I do a lot of mobility workouts anymore because I spent so much time just being really hard on my body.
Man, I know I spoke with you before, but a guy at work, talked to him yesterday morning, man, and we were talking about something being at our older age now, to where he's like, "Yeah, dude, I told you about me going to the trampoline park down in Stillwater the other day, didn't I?" I go, "Man, He goes, I went out there thinking I was still young and I haven't been working out or stretching or doing anything, and I go start bouncing and trying to flips, and he was just tore up. I mean, his body was literally almost broken, and that's kind of a testament to the older we get." To don't put yourself in those high impact situations, at least do functional things to keep yourself moving to hopefully prevent injuries from happening.
Well, I mean, you have to, and again, we'll do a whole episode on this, so I won't spend too much time on it, but dude, don't give me that face.
No, hey,
man.
hold on. We're going to talk about giving faces another time too, but I can give a face right now. We'll do that on another episode. Damn, dude, I could do this to you all day long too, man.
Damn, dude.
Talk about something.
Just saying, like, I think that's still where it's important, and that's why I harp it so much on Dirty and Driven is health and fitness, because I know a lot of people that are in their 50s, 60s that can't even walk up a flight of stairs, and I know a lot of people in their 50s and 60s that are still kicking ass, running marathons, lifting weights heavy, doing stuff like that, and it's because they've taken care of themselves.
Yeah, and that's where I was going with it.
And you got to start now.
Yeah.
I mean, if you're 45 and you say my body's already falling apart, I talked to a gentleman the other day. He's a blue collar worker, man. He remodels homes. That's his job. And he said, "Yeah, I was having a whole bunch of back and shoulder issues." And he goes, I would work. I was decently shaped. I ate okay. And he goes, I finally just decided to eat a little better and start just going to the gym and doing some real basic movements. And dude, now that guy's freaking jacked. And he goes, I don't have back pain anymore. And same with me, man. I mean, that's a big part of my story too, is my back injury.
Yeah.
I've mentioned it on the show several times, but you know, I had a very debilitating back injury my senior year of college. I mean, it put me out. I couldn't hardly work.
And how did it happen?
Just not taking care of myself. I mean, I was in the gym, I was lifting weights, but I was being reckless. I was doing too much and not focusing on form as dumb meathead college kids do.
Did you feel it happen?
Yes.
What was it on?
I was doing, so I just done a leg workout, leg and back workout. I was doing squats and stuff, I think. And I was going to go do my cardio after, and I went on this thing. It's called a ski erg. And what it is, it's like a rowing machine, but it's the skiing motion. And so I was on that because, man, dude, that thing's a hell of a workout. I mean, it's good. And it just popped. And it was like, oh, shit. And
That's crazy. It popped on that.
Yeah, but that's what I thought. I just hunched over and I couldn't. Well, it never really fully healed. And it got a little better. It got manageable because I kept working out and stuff. But I was being a dumbass and I kept pushing.
Oh, yeah.
And it just, over time, man, it just got so bad I couldn't lift anything. So, you know, that's whenever the long train of doctors happens and you spend thousands of dollars going to all these doctors that are supposedly the best in the world. And I see so many people, especially Americans, that go through this bullshit. And I finally found Dr. Aaron Horschig, who runs the page Squat University. Check him out on Instagram, man. That guy, if you have an issue with a body part, just Google, you know, how to assess my shoulder, Squat University, how to assess my ankle, my back, everything. Man, this guy is a G. And I went and saw him in St. Louis, and I still go see him every now and again. And like, after spending thousands of dollars on neurologists and chiropractors and going through the bullshit, and then I find this guy, and it's, no, we're still going to keep you in the weight room, and we're going to keep you functional movements, and we're going to teach you how to do this, that, the other. And it was like, I mean, that was a game changer for me. But that back injury, man, I mean, it was scary because I would go out on the asphalt crew and I couldn't shovel. But it's like, dude, this is what I'm doing. Like, I can't not. Even like, then it was like I would try to do more stuff in the office side of things at that point. And it was like, I couldn't sit at a desk for too long. It's like, dude, I can't do anything. I mean, I was told by a neurologist it was the worst injury he's ever seen in somebody this young. And a chiropractor told me the same thing. And I don't know why it got so bad. I don't know what made it happen, but I mean, it's still a struggle. It happened almost 4 years ago.
What part of your back was it?
Lower back.
Was it a vertebrae or a muscle?
It was discs.
Disc. Oh, in between. Yeah.
Yeah. So it was a bad deal, but, healed it up. But yeah, but that's why I talk about health and fitness so much on Dirty and Driven Project.
Super important, man.
Yeah. But yeah.
So now you're currently at your current position. You've been there for a while. Then the next thing you know, time goes on and you happen to buy a little soundboard and start getting a couple microphones and start getting a few guests. What was behind that?
Yeah, dude. So the Dirty and Driven Project really started happening because, I don't know, man. I just knew that I saw the problems of the industry. And like, there were other guys out there that were really sounding the alarm and really talking about this stuff. I would listen to, like BuildWit, who was out there, Aaron, really the first one out there kind of talking about it. And then just some other guys coming along. And I thought, man, we need to make this industry better, because the blue collar people, the blue collar trades are an amazing place. And I got so pissed off in high school because everybody's always pushing college. And I'd get talking to people and I'd start seeing that, like, they would teach you that, oh, you don't want to be that guy out there. You don't want to be that plumber. You don't want to be that electrician. You don't want to be the guy out there building a road, flagging traffic, because that guy doesn't make any money and he's been in prison, and you don't want to end up like him. And you'd have a teacher who's making $35,000 a year, who went to 6 years of school to get a master's degree, telling you this, who's a fucking deadbeat. And not all teachers are deadbeats, but I mean, there's a lot of teachers that are preaching that are sitting there saying, you don't want to be this guy. And you believe that. And you believe you have to go to college because that's the old way. Colleges have been marketing themselves so well. And finally, I just said, man, we need a platform for blue collar people to come on, be themselves, show who they are, and show that this is an option. But not only that, man, you hear the stats of how many guys are retiring versus how many people are coming into the field. And you go, that is a mountain of opportunity. So the stat that is most often cited is that in the next 10 years, 40% of our workforce is set to retire because the average age is in the 50s. And, it's, some studies say it's 45, some studies say it's 51. So that's the average age in the industry. But what that tells you is, okay, if everybody retires at 65, then shit, we don't have a lot of time, do we? So we have to get people in. We have to gain, train, and retain people. Because right now, construction companies are still doing it the old way. They're poaching people, which doesn't work anymore because there's nobody out there to poach. And they aren't taking time to invest in these kids. So first of all, we have to bring people to the industry. And how do we do that, man? We got to market different. We have to market ourselves in general. So the heavy civil side of things has never been one much to, I mean, it's so freaking badass and cool. You see millions of dollars of equipment on even a small to medium sized job site. If there's 3, 4, 5 machines out there, you've got over $1 million of equipment. And then you go out to the interstate and you see 50 machines out there moving dirt or laying asphalt. There's millions, sometimes billions of dollars of equipment sitting on a job site. And you're sitting here telling me there's no money to be made in this industry? Bullshit. So you have to open up this avenue and bring people in that want to work, but people say kids don't want to work. I think that's bullshit. I think we're marketing to them wrong because the construction industry isn't competing with other construction industries like we believe. I'm not, as a construction company, I am not competing with you as a construction company for people. You and I need to work together to bring more people in because we're competing with the restaurant business. We're competing with Amazon. We're competing with DoorDash. We're competing with colleges still. We're competing with a lot of people. And we have to fight to get those people in and teach them that, hey, we will train you up. But that's the next thing. To get people to stay, we have to train them because there's a lot of kids who have never had to work. I'm very fortunate. So you mentioned my parents earlier, right? I'm very fortunate that I was forced to work, taught how to work, shown how to work. A lot of kids have never had a job before they graduate college or high school. And that's a problem, man, because they get into the industry and they want to come work and it's, well, shit, I've never even had to have a job. Or they've had like a fast food job or something. They just have no idea how to work, how to have responsibility. But if you take a kid and you nurture him, when I say kid, man, I mean anybody. I see 35, 45-year-olds do this too in the industry all the time. They're just as flaky as the 20-year-olds. I mean, it's not a generational thing. It's a today thing. And so I see all this opportunity. So I want to bring people to the industry and I want to teach them how to kick ass. And that's what Dirty and Driven is. I see massive opportunities.
Man, whenever you're talking about the void with the older people, there's going to be a big void because the older people are getting out of the blue collar industry and there's not going to be enough to fill their positions. I think that's the that's the basic. Excuse me. I see wages going way the heck up.
Yeah.
Because when you don't have enough workers and you're relying on those few workers are out there, then there's going to be a lot of chance for salaries to be a lot more also.
Well, there is, and that's where the opportunity is. And I personally, firmly, strongly, wholeheartedly believe that within the next 5 to 10 years, construction workers have the opportunity to make as much as doctors.
I think so.
I mean, obviously, you're going to pay a guy a lot of money to fix your heart if it's wrong. But if you can't flush your shit down the toilet, you're also willing to pay a lot of money if there's just nobody out there who can do it.
Well, and I've mentioned that also before on a little bit of what I do is, I have solutions to people's problems. And if it's dude, we have no AC. Dude, we have no water. Those opportunities, if you can jump on it, and sometimes you're gonna have to pay a premium to get the crap done. Mm-hmm. There's good money in that. Just like, the regular name for what I do is a handyman service, maintenance handyman. Cheesy, whatever. Dude, there's a lot of handyman. The wage is $100, $150 an hour, depending on where you're working at. Legit. When you're going in there legitly taking care of people's issues that need it done, you can make those good wages out there.
Yeah. No, it's true too. And even as unskilled, right now, as an unskilled, untrained, never had a job before person, if you can find a good company, somebody who's willing to bring you in, people will start you $20 an hour or close to it, 15 to 20 range. Whenever I first got in the game, $10 an hour was a hell of a deal. Now that's whenever I was 16, but dude, I was making $10 an hour cash and I was making more than anybody I knew. Okay. And then whenever I went to college, I was making $13.50 an hour with overtime. I was flexing on these hoes, man. And by flexing on these hoes, I mean, my lovely, beautiful backhoes and track hose. Yeah. By flexing on these hoes, I met my wife at a very, very young age after that. And,
what were you flexing? Your biceps, chest, back?
Yeah.
All of the above?
Actually, no hose were being flexed on.
All right.
Yeah, no, I was standing on a backhoe taking shirtless pictures.
There you go.
Yeah.
Flexing.
No, dude, back then I was like 210 pounds.
Dude, that's a great shirt.
What? Flexing on these hoes?
Yeah, have 2 or 3 guys standing on backhoes with their shirts off flexing.
Dude, that's the next Dirty and Driven Athletic shirt right there.
Dude.
Yes.
See, magic happens sometimes.
Let me borrow your pen.
Yeah.
Came unprepared.
I think we'll capture it in this podcast if we're recording.
I'm saying that as if we're not going to re-listen to this. Yeah, dude, that's a good shirt.
And you have to say D's, not these. It has to be D's, kind of like D-E-S-E or
like D's nuts.
Yeah. Oh, D-E-Z. Yeah, kind of like Des Bryant D's.
Yeah.
That way you have a
Keep
little
your
slang.
eye out for those shirts because that's coming now.
Yeah, that way you have a little slang in it.
Yeah. We need to get our boy Philip to design that for us.
He's on it right now. I'll text him right now.
All right, cool. Yeah, so anyways, what were we even talking about? Yeah, so I mean, back then, $13.50 an hour, dude, hell yeah. Plus overtime, you're like, fuck. And then you get more money as you stay in the industry longer. You know, it's like then after a couple summers of it, you're making $21 an hour. Again, with very minimal skill, a couple summers of experience and then, a few years of experience, I should say. And like, I'm just saying, as an unskilled person right now, you can come in making decent money. Livable. You can make a livable wage. And I was talking to a guy the other day and he said, dude, he's like, a lot of places are paying, depending on where you're at. He said, you can make $25 an hour starting out with no skill and get paid to learn with room to grow.
Yes.
And he said, you can make a good living for $25 an hour.
Yeah.
He said, this guy owned a big company and he said, like, but for 6 years, he's like, I lived on $25 an hour with 4 kids and a wife. And he goes, we lived, it was budgeting. It wasn't the most comfortable living ever, but it was decent. It was middle class. And he's like, we made it work and it was a decent living.
Yeah.
And now he owns a huge ass company, but besides the point. But all I'm saying is we need to bring more people to the industry because that is so vital. And there's so much opportunity. Just like years and years ago, the opportunity was going to college. In the 80s, 90s, 2000s, everybody wanted someone with a college degree. And back then, college was relevant to what you were learning. Now, college is still stuck in 2000. You don't learn, you go to college to be an engineer, you're not learning how to be an engineer. I hardly learned shit from college. The only thing that college was good for me for was it gave me 4 years to fuck up and fix my mistakes with very little consequences. And to just hop around and try different jobs. And I did. I worked for several people. I worked as a soils tech, and I worked for him for most of it, but that job as a soil, concrete, and asphalt technician got me on hundreds of job sites. Every job site in a 75-mile radius or more, probably 100-mile radius, I was on, or a lot of them.
Yeah, I think I've heard before that it's spoken like college just... If companies were hiring and they were looking at an associate's or a bachelor's degree, a lot of times they just look to see if you have proven yourself that you could hang out for 2 years or 4 years and get that degree.
It depends on what you're doing. Like for me, I had a plan. The college degree was valued by the people that hired me out of college. And if you have a plan, it's great. I'm not anti-college. If I had to do it again, I would probably still do it with that plan in mind, but I could probably have done it without too. It would have just taken a little longer.
Well, if I had to do it again, I probably would take the same path because I wouldn't have met my wife and I wouldn't have met you.
Well, exactly. Yeah.
You see that? See how, hey, babe, if you're listening, I love you.
But I mean, also, if I didn't go to college, I probably would have never had 2 guys from the heavy civil industry come in and say, hey, this is badass. You should try it. So that's kind of how I got hooked up there.
So in order to gain, so when you're talking about the Dirty and Driven project, in order to gain, you're talking about it's a different time and place now to have a chance to gain people. And I think where you might have been going was the podcasting route, the social media route. They need to be stronger in that to gain and show how sexy and cool the blue collar industry is.
Yeah. So gain, train, retain is like a tripod. Okay. All 3 of them have to work together. So in order to gain people, you have to update kind of what you're doing. You have to make it attractive and sexy to 18, 19, 20, 25, 35-year-olds. You know what's not attractive to fucking 18, 19, 20, 25, 35-year-olds?
What?
Getting a gold watch after 20 years. Because we all wear fucking Apple Watches and we don't care about your analog watch.
Yeah.
You know what's not sexy to those people?
What?
Hearing about your 401k and insurance plan. Everybody's got 401k. Everybody's got insurance. A lot of 18-year-olds aren't even enrolling in your 401k plan. So advertising that isn't doing it. But also just getting on social media and not being afraid of it. For so long, companies, and I learned about this from somebody that I really respect, and I'm trying to work out to get him on the show to talk about this too. Back in the 70s and 80s, there was a lot of companies that were accused of bid rigging. And so...
As the what?
Bid rigging.
What's that?
So
You would rig bids?
Yeah. So like you and I own two different companies. It's Highway Letting Week. We would sit in a room with 20 other people and we'd sit here and I'd say, I want this job. You take that job. Here's what I'm going to bid. Here's what you're going to bid. Let's put a little extra profit in there so that way it's competitive and we're, here's what. So that was going on. Well, there was a lot of companies that were accused that shouldn't have been, and it put them out of business because they couldn't afford to fight it. And like I said, I know a guy that his family company went through that and survived, and I want to get him on the show for it. But that forced a lot of companies back in their shells. And then, and then like the heavy civil world, and I don't know why the building contractors are a little more progressive than the heavy civil world. I think it's just because the heavy civil world, there's still a lot of guys that are in their late 60s, early 70s that are working, that are either, if they're not on a machine, they're in the office, they're running around. They still want to do this work. Because these guys, especially the guys, like I look at one of my biggest mentors, Glenn, and he's taught me everything I know about estimating, about designing roads, everything. The dude knows everything. He built almost every freaking road within a 100-mile radius of where we are right now, plus all over Oklahoma and Texas. He knows what's underneath every road. He knows where every box culvert is. He knows where every 6-foot freaking drainage box is underneath the major roads. He knows where that stuff is because he's literally built or been a part of building major infrastructure projects that people use, that's still in place, that was built back in the 70s. And that's incredible. So those guys are very proud of what they do. So I think that whenever you have that, they stick around longer and they still look at it as back as the things were in the 70s and 80s. And they think that there's not enough jobs for the amount of people there are. Well, now it's quite the opposite. There's way more jobs than there are people. And the good companies, the ones who can be attractive, who can get their name out there to get people in the door. You got to get people in the door. Okay, now you got a stack of applications on your desk and you say, all right, I'm going to hire 3 of you. You hire 3 people, let's say. They have no experience because nobody coming in has any experience. Everybody's got quote unquote experience on a backhoe and a skid steer that they ran on their friend's farm. Everybody's got experience with that. So they say. I'm saying that facetiously. But now you have to take a training program and you have to look these 3 kids in the eyes and you can't just give them a shovel and $17 an hour and say, yeah, man, just keep working. And if you prove yourself, we'll move you up. Kids are impatient. They're going to work for a little while. Then they're going to hear about another job that's paying $18 an hour and has good pay, good benefits, and it's not too bad to work for, a little more flexible hours, more PTO. And they're going to say, I'll go check that out. And they might bounce around jobs like that. And it's because that company's treating them better. But where I see a lot of these kids going is they leave the construction industry as a whole and they go work for manufacturing or factory jobs, something like that. But you have to train these kids up. So where you should go is you should take these people, these kids who a lot of them have never been mentored. They come from shitbag parents or just lazy parents or uninvolved parents. And they don't have a good positive role model in their life, or what they do have is very slim. And you have to take them, you have to say, what are your goals? Because a kid's going to, you ask a kid or anybody, you ask anybody who's just floating, what are your goals? Well, I just needed, my goal is just to get a good job, support myself, my family. Okay, well, why do you want to work here? Well, I've heard it's good pay. It's a decent place to work. Just need a job, man. Okay, but what do you want to do? I'll do whatever. I don't really care. What do you want to do? Like where do you strive to be in 5 years from now? If you're still working here, where do you see yourself? And when you ask that question, you stump a lot of people. And then let's say they say, I want to be a track hoe operator. That's when you go, all right, man, let's make a plan. Let's make you a 5-year plan. So 5 years from now, you can be the best damn track hoe operator we have here. And if you do that and you give a kid a tangible, seeable, feelable piece of paper that says, this is your path if you follow it, you're putting the power in his hands. And you're teaching him that you can achieve this if you are willing to put your mind to it. But if you don't do the things that are required of you, you're not going to get there. And you're going to get cut. You're going to get fired because you're not cutting it. but you set him up for his own success. And so that's the train part, but that's also the retain part. Train and retain especially go hand in hand. Because if you're training them, you're setting them up for success and you're giving them that bigger picture. You show them the bigger picture. You say, I say we're bringing people to the blue collar world and teaching them how to kick ass. When you tell somebody that that's your goal, it's hell yeah, dude, I want to be a part of that. When you just say like, yeah, man, we build roads. It's like, oh, that's it? But if you say, dude, we're building America's highways. We are building places for people to travel. That gets somebody amped up. You're like, dang, dude, I'm a part of that. Forgot to give you your pin back.
They could have some buy-in on that, huh?
Yeah. You're getting them bought into the mission. You got to have a mission statement. And you have to just ask them what they want, man. So to answer your question with this whole dirty and driven thing, yeah, we have a podcast. Yeah, you and I screw around. Yeah, we get guys on here and I tell them, you have no filter. You say whatever you want. And as far as I've heard, we're the only blue collar podcast that is letting somebody come on here and riff about whatever the hell they want to. And I'm sure there's others out there that I just haven't heard. And I know there's other great ones out there, but there's no filter here, man. And it's to really and truly portray what this industry is like and who the people are, because the people are the most genuine, down-to-earth people ever. And I want to show that so that way it brings in the real people, the good people, the down-to-earth people that want to work hard and do cool stuff and know that there's opportunity for them. And so how do we do that, man? What are we doing with Dirty and Driven? What is the goal of Dirty and Driven? It's not just a podcast, man. It's more than that. It's a community, for one, an amazing community of awesome people. But also, we're here to help you. If you're a company owner, a business owner, to help you put together these custom training platforms, programs for the people that you're talking about. A lot of companies say, yeah, we can put a training program together, but they never do it. They never do it. Do you know how many companies I've heard say, yeah, we'll do our own? They've never done it. But you take guys like you and I, we go and we sit down with them and we say, what do your people want? What do you want as an owner? What do you want? I want my people to learn that. Well, all right. First of all, we've got to teach your foreman and your superintendents and your project managers some leadership skills to push this down, because it starts at the top. Okay, we want to work with owners for a top-down approach to making serious change in their company, of developing a true training culture. And I almost hate that word culture, because culture is such a fucking buzzword anymore. Everybody has culture. Culture. When I hear the word culture, I think of...
there's always a new buzzword, like it's the buzzword of the month, the flavor of the month. Every month or two, it's something new, man. Holistically was one of them that they started pushing a year or two ago out. We're going to take a holistic approach. Dude, I had to Google, what the hell is a holistic approach? And they kept putting it, but yeah.
Yeah. Well, dude, so...
Culture.
Yeah, but you got to push it down from the top to the bottom, man. And that's where culture starts. And culture is everything. Your company is everything. Your culture... Let me rephrase that. The culture of your company is everything. And it starts with you as a boss. So you have to... This is a weird thing. So it starts top down, but the goal is for it to be bottom up.
Yeah, and I think whenever we talk about leaders too, leadership, you always think about a top down, the superiors, the trickle down effect. But we're all leaders, man. And if you can get everybody, like what you're talking about, if you can get everybody on board to lead in their own way, man, then it's just a big full family.
Yeah, exactly. So, and that's where I'm getting with that too, is so it's top down as far as pushing it. You as the owner, as the leader, as the manager, as the vice president, wherever you are in that position, you have to take reign of that and you have to say, this is what I want. These are the values of this company. And we can do another one for core values and stuff. I mean, there's a lot of...
Damn, we got like 5 or 6.
A lot of sidetrack. Yeah, I need to go through and write down everything we're saying. Ding. We're going to write an episode about. Yeah, ding. But you have to say, these are the values of this company. This is our mission. And you guys are going to push this. And you have to live it. You have to live it out.
That's it, man. Lead. That's where I think, too, where you got to lead by example, man. Yes, just don't talk the talk.
You have to live it out. And I think it's important for a CEO to have a brand. Obviously not a Dirty and Driven or something like that. They don't have to have a podcast. They don't even have to have an Instagram page, but they have to be their own persona. They have to be them, and they have to get out there and show that every now and then. Whether that's through Instagram or Facebook, or I can't tell you how many guys work for a company and don't even know who the owner's name is. And to me, that's pretty crazy.
And with a brand, man, I was just thinking when you said that, with a brand, you got to, hopefully with your employees, there has to be a brand that they're happy to wear on their lapel or their shirt, something they're proud of to wear.
And that's exactly what the goal is here. So you start with the bottom down approach, and that's him pushing it. But your goal as that bottom down approach is the top up approach, man. Bottom up approach is you want your people on the bottom step, the bottom rung, on the lowest part to be leaders, like Casey was saying. You want them from anywhere to lead. So that way, if the culture's out of whack, then they can take care of it. So you actually want to devolve your leadership. This old school flagpole mentality of we're going to run it up the flagpole, back down the flagpole. That flagpole should be as short as possible. And you should trust your people to make decisions, and you should trust your people to make mistakes, and you should trust that they're able to handle it, and you should trust that you can give them responsibility. I believe that the more responsibility you give people, the better they're going to be. But if you baby them, you coddle them, you don't give them responsibility, well, they get scared of responsibility.
Man, I mean, if you really think about kind of what we're trying to do here, the social media aspect, I mean, think about how often we're on our fucking phone and sit, and that's where a lot of it's going to. That's where everybody, dude, I have a deal. I know I surf.
Bring it up. No, just bring it up.
All right. Oh, we're still recording, huh?
Yeah.
Right. Man, one thing that I see with the majority of the people is anytime we spend time on our phone, aside from maybe texting or checking the old weather app, might be Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, YouTube, Facebook, Twitter. Oh, put the phone down.
Be productive for 30 seconds.
And, oh, shit. Oh, I got a notification. Facebook, Twitter, Facebook. Oh, scroll through the TikTok videos. TikTok, Facebook, Twitter.
And now we got Threads.
Now we got, and I'm guilty of it.
Me too.
I feel, have you ever heard that song by, I know I'm breaking it up here, by Adam Sandler? It's Wallet Phone Keys or Phone Wallet Keys.
I haven't.
Great song. It's on one of his latest albums. But the kicker is, before you leave or go anywhere, you make sure, shit, I got the phone, wallet, keys.
Yep.
Phone, wallet, key. Dude, when you're without your phone that has all of these apps and all of this social media and this advertising, you feel naked without that damn thing.
Yeah.
So what I'm getting at is, I heard, not the algorithm, but check this out. And you can look at it. Anybody listening can look at it. You can even look at it right now. Mm-hmm. If you scroll through your Twitter feed, TikTok feed, one of those, every third or fourth post on there is an ad.
Yeah.
Ad. And the kicker is, man, there's so much opportunity because we all are right there that, man, if there was something kind of like what we're doing with Dirty and Driven, if there's something out there, whether it's podcasts or even videos, short cool clips about safety or road construction or anything like that, man, there's opportunity to get the message out there.
Yeah. So to go on that, for one, yes, that's one of my biggest key points, especially to people that are still running companies that don't use social media. They don't believe in it. It's a waste of time. They don't want to. Well, dude, it might be a waste of time to you. It may not be fun for you. You may not like it. But guess what, dude? Every one of your employees is on there. Every one of your potential employees is on there. So if you're not advertising and creating content for the type of people you want to attract, you're doing it wrong, in my opinion, because you can be getting a lot more people because they're going to look at that and they're going to say, that looks cool. I want to go work there. And that's how you bring them in. And then from there, like some of the training programs I'm working on right now, short 10, 5, 10, 30 second, 5 minute, 10 minute videos of, like one of them I'm working on right now, how to run an asphalt plant. 30 second to 5 minute videos of, okay, this is how to power up. This is how to power down. This is how to open the silo. This is how to close the silo. This is how to make the mix go in a different silo. This is what you do if the drum stops turning. This is how to walk out, tag out. Short little things like that. Short little bursts. You can put all that on a smartphone. You can create an app for your people. You can put that shit on Instagram, dude.
You know how cool that stuff is to, if I was scrolling through and I saw something like that, and dude, I have no clue about an asphalt plant and the stuff that you just mentioned. I have no clue. I really don't.
Yeah.
But dude, it's pretty dang interesting.
Yeah.
To see it pop up and cool. And then, dude, you could turn that, into a little training deal like you're saying.
Well, that's what I'm doing.
Yeah. Then you could elaborate on that.
Yeah. Yeah, that's exactly what I'm doing. I mean, and I'm making that program right now. So,
but you're not only doing that for where you're at, but the potential for others.
Yeah. No, I mean, that's what I'm talking about. It's right there, man. It's that's what we want to do at Dirty and Driven. I mean, that's what I'm saying. That's what we're working on.
You know how many training videos I sit through out of my energy company? Love the place. But
they suck, right?
Dude, just looking at the watch like old Biden did, at that one deal, at the soldiers. It just, dude, come on. But if you make the stuff interesting and cool and more upbeat to where you're tied in, it might be, have a little bit of humor, whatever, man. You'll be able to retain it more and you'll enjoy it.
And it's more memorable.
Yes.
If you go up there and you listen to a guy drone on, he's, whoa, and then
PowerPoint, death by PowerPoint.
Dude, I know what training video you guys freaking show people to come in the gate. I've seen it. It's 15 minutes long.
You son of a...
It's 15 minutes long. It's the same one they've had for 20 years.
We strive to be safety.
It's like you will get any sort of OSHA training, MSHA training, any of that crap like that. Dude, it sucks. And you're just like, who's making this crap? It's low produced. It's terrible, and it's not engaging at all. It's just like, be sure to wipe your boots off before you go inside.
We take our job serious.
We take safety seriously. Be sure at all times to wear a hard hat, safety glasses, and gloves. And you're just like, God dang, when's this going to end, man?
Be sure to sign in and out to the facility each time you come and go.
Please shake your penis no more than 2 times after they're using the restroom.
Should you see a leak or an injury, be sure to notify operations immediately.
Yeah, it's just, and then you get some dude who looks like Bubbles from Trailer Park Boys. He's in every safety video. I don't get it. It's the same guy, I swear. He's got gray hair. He's got big, thick glasses.
Oh, yeah.
And he's in all the videos in a pearly white hard hat, and he's just like, talking about something.
The hard hat has no scratches or grease or grime on it, man.
Dude, so and that's like some of the stuff that I've been a part of. People say, well, put this hard hat on. I'm like, I'm not wearing that. Like, what? No, well, you want it to look clean. You want it to look fresh. It's professional. I was like, dude, I'm going to wear the same scuffed up piece of shit hard hat I've had for a while because this is what people see. This is real.
Yeah.
And that's what I want to do with this stuff. And that's what we're doing with Dirty and Driven is we're showing the real picture.
Yeah, and I've seen what you're doing and what we're doing behind the scenes, and it's pretty exciting what's coming down the pipe.
We have some incredible stuff. And, I talk about how like ideal customers is owners, big managers, marketing people. Marketing people hit me up, man. Like I'm down to talk about some of this stuff with you guys and some of these short programs that we're putting together. But also we're coming out with stuff for your average Joe blue collar person. Because that's who makes Dirty and Driven. So if we want to gain, train, and retain, what's the number one way to do that? Word of mouth, right?
Word of mouth. Share the show.
Yeah. Well, share the show and share the industry. Show what you do. Show your kids. Take them by a job site and say, yeah, look at that shit. That's the machine I run. That's the, if you work in a heavy civil field, take them out there and let them climb on a piece of equipment, even if it's still, just like I did with the backhoe as a little kid, man.
What's a heavy civil field, by the way?
Heavy civil is your roads, your bridges. There's horizontal and there's vertical.
Right.
So, vertical is building buildings. And those people matter too. Those people, I'm talking to those people also. That's just the language I speak is the heavy civil language. But, so the building, the vertical, That's your GCs, your general contractors that hire. That's your carpenters, your framers, your finishers, your electricians, your plumbers, your HVAC guy. That's those dudes, your painters, all that. The heavy civil side is your roads, your bridges, your utilities, your sewer, your water, water treatment plants, all that kind of crap.
Is there sub-vertical, like for underground?
Like,
Because you did like horizontal and you did up, but is there anything to go down in the ground?
yeah, I mean, your utility lines are buried. There's
Kinda
boring. There's boring companies. Like,
Kind of like that guy that you had on the podcast last week that does the mining out of Vegas
Nevada, not Vegas, but
or Nevada. Well, Las Vegas, Nevada. Yeah, well,
it's like that'd be like people saying, "Yeah, these two guys from Tulsa."
Dude, that's the same place, man.
It'd be like two people being like, "Yeah, they're these two blokes from Lawton." It's like, what? Well, yeah, they're from Oklahoma. Lawton, Oklahoma.
You got me on a technicality, But you're talking about the Boring Company, about Elon Musk.
The Boring Company, and then like mines. I mean, all of these mines are just ginormous freaking holes in the ground.
Yeah.
So there's that kind of stuff. And I mean, obviously people are building buildings underground. California,
there you go.
The old basements underground.
That was a good
That'd be
save.
under the vertical. But
Is that called a building if it's underground?
you're still building it.
Yeah, that's kind of like calling a mouse if it's outside. You call it a rat. If it's a building underground, I don't know if it's a building.
Crazy basements. I don't know. But yeah, I mean, but anyways, one thing I do want to just say is on Dirty and Driven, if you're still listening, if you're not tired of hearing my smooth, sexy voice through your airwaves.
Yeah, and me taking it off topic every 5.
Well, that's all right, man. That's what we're good for, man. These training videos are the same.
Dude, that's the way it should be.
It is.
And I'll have to give a shout out to my energy company that I'm at. They do have this one video that's actually pretty dang good.
Really?
Yeah, it's kind of framed as a talk show and it's real lighthearted. Hey, let's bring out so and so, and he comes, hey, and it's really, so how did it? Oh, it went great. And they really do the comical side, but they have the serious note on it. Yeah. So it's the right angle to do that type of stuff that I know that we're working on.
That's what we need. Yeah, I mean, and that's what it takes, man. You gotta speak the language of the people. So if you're an engineer and you're speaking, go out on a job site when there's an engineer and there's an old country boy who's been running a motor grader for 30 years. Those two guys do not speak the same language.
Yeah.
This engineer, probably a little bit on the spectrum, does not understand sarcasm or profanity or any of that. This guy over here, the operator, is a backwoods redneck.
That's a real world right there.
Yeah. So you have two opposite ends of the spectrum. And I speak to both of these people very well, which is a strength of mine, being able to talk to the rednecks and the engineers. But if you are speaking engineering jargon to the operator is going to be like, I don't know, this guy's the dumbest guy I've ever met. And the engineer is going to walk away and go, this freaking backwoods hick, So it's the same kind of concept.
Well, it's good to see that actually an engineer got out into the field to check out and see what was going on.
Yeah, that's very rare.
Very
Only
rare.
when there's a serious problem and you say,
rare.
fix it. But, a little bit ago, one thing I do just want to touch on is I want to talk about our core values, Dirty and Driven. I think that's something we talk about a lot on the show. And I think it's something we've mentioned. I think we even did an episode on establishing them and creating your own. But we never talked about what the Dirty and Driven core values are. And I don't even think I've ever told you what the Dirty and Driven core values are.
Do you want to push pause and tell me, or are you going to tell me now?
I'm going to tell you now.
All right.
Raw,
Let's
live,
hear it.
on the air. So this is just where I just want to say, I'm practicing what I'm preaching here. And we set our own. Right now, Dirty and Driven is me and Casey, and occasionally my wife, and the rest of this community that makes it so awesome. But I just want to let you guys know what we stand for and what we screw with. For one, it's exactly like you're saying. So whenever we're making this content, whenever we're pushing the industry, our number one goal is to keep it real.
I'm keeping it around. I'm standing up, man.
Oh, yeah, I know. My butt was falling asleep too. I'd do it. So our top number one, and these are in no specific order, but it's keep it real. You got to keep the shit real, man. That's why we have no filter on these guys. I don't tell people, don't cuss. I don't tell them, don't tell stories about a stripper in Vegas. I don't tell those stories. I don't tell these guys to not tell those stories. Talk about what you want, man. Talk about who you are. We'll talk about construction at some point in that conversation, but we'll talk about who you are and what you're about.
You know, and I'd rather somebody just cut the chase, keep it real with me. Sometimes it might be abrasive, might not be what I wanted to hear. But as long as you're keeping it real instead of tiptoeing around and not, dancing around the subject, that's a little different, man. Let's keep it real.
Yeah, let's keep it real. So that's our goal here always. And if you ever think that we're fake or full of shit or whatever, hit us up, man. Challenge us. Call us out.
Well, here's the deal. We might be full of shit.
Well,
I guarantee that. But fake? No, we ain't fake. That's for damn sure.
I'm not a fake person.
Yeah.
And I hate fake people. I cannot
Yeah.
stand being around fake people.
But I can guarantee you we're going to check off on the full of shit.
Yeah. Yeah, full of
Call
shit.
out. If we do, we get like inundated with messages. Ding, ding, ding. Y'all are full of shit.
Yeah. No, I mean, like the way I talk, the stories I tell, my wife got mad at me the other day because I was talking at church. I was talking to our pastor and I was talking about recycled concrete. And I said, you know that big ass pile of concrete out there by the airport? They're out there recycling that. And she just kind of nudged me. I was like, what? I was like, oh, sorry, that big old pile of concrete. I mean, it's like, I said it.
Oh, you should have said ass load pile of concrete.
That metric fuck ton of concrete.
Oh, okay. Yeah, okay. The fuck ton? Yeah, okay. I see which one you're talking about.
Oh, not the ass load, the fuck ton. Okay,
I get it now, James. Thank you.
Gotcha. So I'm always going to keep it real, man. Wherever I see you.
I get it, James.
Yeah.
Keep it real. I just love the way that you keep it real, James.
Yeah. So we got to show the industry and the people in it. So that's why we want to keep it real. Because these are real people in this industry. This ain't a freaking tech company where everybody's cutthroat, fake as hell. This is real people. They don't give a shit, man. And I tell stories all day long about guys who are just real as fuck.
Let me tell you about keeping it real one last time and go on to the next one. Our previous CEO, where I'm at, whenever he talked during town halls.
Would that be Greg?
Yes, and that's it. But when he would talk at town halls, I didn't know the guy personally just from the town halls and stuff. But when he'd talk, at least at face value, every now and then he might slip in a shit bomb.
Yeah.
Or an ass bomb. And dude, I tuned in more.
So I've gone back and forth on this because I've talked about my faith a lot on the show and stuff like that. But whenever I meet, especially in like out of work setting, whenever I meet a construction guy, let's say I have an HVAC guy come to my house, or I have an electrician, or I have a plumber come to my house, or I'm talking to a company, some of these companies we work with. Let's say I talk to some of these guys and their foremen, their superintendents, their leaders, or just their operators, boots on the ground guy. You go out in the field and somebody sees you as you don't work here, or you're upper guy, you're with the management. I'm going to, yes, sir, thank you, blah, blah. But as soon as you say, yeah, and then I was like, what the fuck? Then these guys, their face lights up and they're like, you're just like me.
Yeah, you're speaking our language.
Yes. And that's just me being me.
Yeah,
I'm not going to pretend that I tell dirty jokes and cuss in front of anybody. I don't care. I mean, do I tone it down with some people and tone it up with others? Yeah, but I do that subconsciously. My goal is to always speak on your level, whoever you are.
Yeah, know your audience, man. I'm not saying for the higher ups or anybody in general to go around just dropping F-bombs, having a potty mouth. Not that. But what I was getting at with him, obviously he was upper management. He was the top dog. It was like, oh, dude, then I was tuning in more because he was speaking our language.
Are you really going to be so fake that you're going to act like you don't say that stuff?
Yeah.
Dude, I've been in boardrooms.
Yeah.
I've been in boardrooms and they speak just like everybody out in the field.
Yeah.
But it's like whenever they get in front of, I got to be the example.
Yeah.
And it's like, no.
Yeah,
yes, you need to be the example, but you don't have to sit here and act like you don't talk like that.
Yeah, when they hit record, they put on the old game face.
And some of these guys don't talk like that. And that's amazing that they can keep it real and be themselves and not basically be above reproach in that situation.
Well, kind of like listening to Andy Frisella. He's a perfect example of success. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. The guy keeps it real, no filter, and has a badass company.
Yeah.
And I'm sure his employees love him. You know?
Dude, those guys up there, just getting to spend time with some of the people up in his wheelhouse, dude, they're as real as it comes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Next one is accept the challenge. I say this because life's hard. Your goals should push you. And our mission is big at Dirty and Driven. Gain, train, retain. Bring people to the blue collar world and teach them how to kick ass, because we're fucking terrified of the fact that there may not be blue collar workers to fix our stuff. But if you accept the challenge, you can thrive. I was talking, so a point I was going to make earlier and I forgot, we got sidetracked, was I was talking to a guy that I'm working with, a contractor, electrician in Kansas City, and he said, I told him that stat of 40% of the work. He's like, I don't see it. He goes, I don't have a retainage problem. I don't have a hiring problem. That's never been an issue for me. He's doing this shit right, man. He is, you walk in that place and you're like, wow. But he goes, I'm really happy you told me that 40% of the people are going to retire, because that means I can go in, I can just mop the fucking floor.
Yeah.
And he goes, I'm down for that. He said, I'm into that, man. I can clean house. And I was like, damn, that's powerful. That is one way to look at it, man.
Yeah.
You have to accept the challenge, though, and you can give up. You can look at this stuff and like you can be that kid that goes to work for a construction company and they give you a flag and $13 an hour and they say, yeah, we'll teach you as we go. And after 6 months, you can sit there and say, man, this ain't for me. I'm done. I quit. I'm tired of this. Or you can say, I'm going to bust my ass to be in that top position.
Yeah.
And that's what it takes, man. You have to accept that challenge.
Sometimes that's where sports come to play. If you were raised somewhat in athletics whatsoever or competition, then if you're at that entry level position and you see somebody with a job that you want, dude, that's where the drive, hopefully the old blood starts to boil to where you kick in and want to advance.
Yeah. Yeah. You got to want it, man. So accept the challenge. The next one's be disciplined. So when you're chasing hard things and you're not staying disciplined, those goals will swallow you. You'll get behind. Discipline, I think, is another kind of buzzword at times. But what is discipline at the bare bones roots? It's showing up and doing what you said you were going to do, whether it be small or big. What does discipline truly look like? Discipline is showing up to work on time. Discipline is being reliable. Discipline is saying, no matter what, I'm going to nourish my body the way it needs to be nourished today. I'm going to feed it what it needs. I'm going to drink plenty of water. I'm going to take care of myself. I'm going to follow this diet that I'm sticking to. Discipline is saying, yeah, even though I have a long, hard day in front of me or behind me, I know I need to work out because I'm starting to get a little pudge. Discipline is saying, these are my goals. I want to be an operator, but this is what it takes to get there, and I'm being a lazy fuck at work. And then it's pulling yourself out of that and just doing it every single day. You have to be disciplined. If you're not disciplined, you can't ever achieve these big goals, and you're never going to gain the trust that you want from these people. So if you want to gain trust from your upper management, or you want to start your own company, man, you got to be disciplined in making phone calls to get sales. You got to be disciplined in getting your bids out on time. You got to be disciplined in showing up when you say you're going to be there. You've just got to be disciplined.
Yeah, getting the work in no matter how you feel, and being accountable. I heard a few points that you made right there that sound like a little bit of accountability also. Yeah,
I think discipline and accountability go hand in hand.
Pretty close, yeah.
If you're not accountable, it's because you're not disciplined.
As I've mentioned before, we have passing times of motivation. Mm-hmm. It's fleeting at times. Sometimes, dude, every third day or something, man, I just feel, hell yeah, dude. And I'm just rocking and rolling. But it's not an everyday deal. But if you're disciplined, you're going to get that work in regardless of the motivation.
A lot of people have been DMing me lately. And I appreciate these DMs, and they mean a lot to me. And they say, hey, man, I really love the show. I've been going through a slump. I had 3 people send this to me last night. Real people. And they're 3 different stories, but all of them were along the lines of, hey, man, been listening to the show, and it's really motivated me to kick it into gear a little harder. that motivation is going to last a little while. You're going to listen to the show and you're going to say, man, I need to do that. But discipline is what we want you to develop.
But that right there, that motivated you, didn't it? Getting those messages?
There's nothing wrong with motivation.
But what I'm saying is, look how contagious that is.
It is.
I mean, it's great. And I tell you, it's contagious with me coming in here.
Yeah.
You know, I show up regardless. I show up when we say we're going to show up. Mm-hmm. And dude, I'll leave here on a little higher note than I was. And
me too.
I take that home and play with the kids, play the dog. I love my wife, and I get some shit done. I'm like, heck yeah, man.
Motivation's a tool, man.
It's a high.
Motivation is a tool, but the discipline takes over, because just as I have highs, dude, there's times where I'm on cloud nine. There are days I'm on cloud nine. And this is why I talk about mental health a lot, because there's days where I'm on cloud nine. Big things happen. We land a guest that I'm really excited about. We hit new numbers. I get messages from people. I get 10 people hit me up saying they want to buy a shirt, or they want stickers, or they love the show and it means so much to them. It's their favorite podcast. And that shit makes me freaking jacked. But just as I hit those highs, sometimes I hit lows, man. I hit for no reason. Just last week, dude, right after we recorded an episode with Eric Strubig on mental health, the day after that episode came out, dude, I hit a freaking slump. I don't even know how to describe it, man. It was a depression. I hit those every few months. I go through a 3-4 day span of just absolute depression. Well, I've learned that during those spans, I just have to power through. I just got to keep up. I mean, sure, I back off on a few things. And sometimes being disciplined is knowing when to rest too. I mean, and for me, my discipline was I need to rest. I need to not go so hard for a few days and just let my mind reset. Sometimes discipline's knowing when to do that, because you can be over committed, over motivated, and leave everything in the dust.
Yeah, and remember too, when we're on our highs, we have a baseline that each one of us operate on. When we're on our highs, we're on a high momentarily, or maybe for some time, but we're going to come down to that baseline, and sometimes we're going to go the opposite way and drop down below it. It's just a matter of kind of like a caffeine high, then you drop down and get low. But during those times of being low, I found this to help for me because dude, I struggle with it too. During the times of being low, if I can get my mind off of whatever that certain situational deal is, and hopefully it's a beneficial, happy thing to get your mind off of, then it helps me get through that slump. Then I'm back on my baseline level again.
Yeah. And you just got to be disciplined to know that, hey, maybe I need to rest. Hey, maybe I need to get away. Hey, maybe I need to work harder. Maybe I'm depressed because I'm fat, lazy, and out of shape. Maybe I'm depressed because I'm just grinding too hard. I'm not sleeping enough. I'm not drinking enough water. All things to look at. But that's, and
along that mental health deal, because that's kind of our mental health deal. Mm-hmm. Be sure to tell yourself also that you've been through this before. Each one of us I've been down this low before. I'll get through it. Just come on, keep powering through. Yeah. You got this, man. You got this. And good days and good times will come.
Yeah. It's all part of discipline, man. I think discipline encompasses so much stuff. I think that discipline is just learning yourself and who you are and what makes you tick, what makes you move forward. And being disciplined is just saying, this is going to help me move forward, and doing it.
Yep.
And sometimes moving forward is taking a step back. So being disciplined is knowing all that. The next one is quality matters. So if you go listen to our older shows, I think the content is decent quality. We had some great guests. I thought we had some great shows. Our sound quality wasn't the best in the world, but we are actively striving to improve. Quality matters to me. Once we get this studio completely finished, anytime anyone comes in here, it is going to look like it's never been used. Because quality matters. And we're going to put out, as we put out training content, as we put out these programs, these courses, it's going to be quality. I can take somebody calling me up and saying, hey, I didn't like this, or I'm not a big fan of that, or, this is too expensive. But if somebody hits me up and says, man, this wasn't worth the money, that's a hit. I don't care if you say I'm not going to buy it because something's too expensive, or I'm not going to buy it because I just don't need it right now. But if I put something out and somebody says this wasn't worth my time or worth my money, then I hate that. Quality matters to me. And quality matters to this project. If you can't put out good quality product, then there's a place in business for people who put out low quality stuff, and I don't want to be in that place.
Has anybody ever reached out and said that this podcast wasn't worth their money?
No, because it's free, and we don't run ads.
But if you want to donate to the Dirty and Driven Project, there's a tip jar, just a tip.
Yeah, so if you want to hear this show get better quality, because I want to do more stuff. I want to be better quality, but dude, it's all money. And Casey and I ain't exactly independently wealthy. So, we want to put this show on film. We want to keep making the studio better. We want to be able to travel more. We want to be able to get guests to travel in here. So, quality matters. And if you want to hear the show continue to get higher quality, we do have a way that you can support us. You can buy a t-shirt. You can DM us. You can reach out on our website.
Dude, I need one of them stickers. I didn't know you got the stickers with the headphones on the Dirty and Driven tractor.
That's not the headphones.
It's not. Oh, dude,
That's just the stickers we've always
we need
had.
the headphones.
Okay.
I got headphones on my mind.
Okay.
Anyway.
So, which is funny because we're the only podcast I know of that doesn't ever wear headphones.
That's because our shit's legit.
Shit's legit.
Too legit to quit.
Too legit. Too legit to quit. Not unlegit. I love that movie. So yeah, quality matters. Next one is make friends. I cannot tell you how many friends I've made through this Dirty and Driven project. It's absolutely incredible. Those of you that reach out, DM me. Some of you I talk on the phone fairly regularly. Some of you we text back and forth. Some of you we DM back and forth. Some of you support this project unwaveringly. Thank you. And thank you for your friendship. If you make a friend, you make a sale. And when I say make a sale, I don't just mean you're going to buy a custom training program from us. I don't mean you're going to purchase a shirt from us. When I say make a friend, make a sale, I'm saying if I make a friend with you and you're not in the construction industry, you're going to be willing to try it. I just had it happen. I put a kid to work on an asphalt crew because he hit me up and he was like, hey man, I really just want a cool summer job in the construction world. And at first I said, well, hey, come build roads. He gave me the same response I gave the owner years ago of, man, I just don't have interest in building roads. And then a couple months goes by and he goes, hey man, I talked to him more and more about it. He said, you know what? I do want to try it. I'm going to come work there. Make a friend, make a sale, man. You might sell somebody on the industry by just being their friend and just showing that, yeah, it's a cool place full of cool people. And also, you can trust friends. There's nothing wrong with making friends with the companies you work with your employees. Now, I mean, you got to know when to draw the line of business and friendship, but which is something I think you and I do really well. You and I are friends, but you also do work for me. You do work for my family. And sometimes there's tension there, but we don't bring it to the podcast. We stay together for the kids.
I have no tension, man. What's up?
No tension. So, next one's, what?
We'll talk about tension after this show.
That's passion.
I'm all tensed up.
Next one is spread joy. Be happy. Smile. There's enough negativity in this world, in the news. There's a lot of reasons to be depressed and unhappy, but spread joy.
Spread joy and enjoy yourself. It's later than you think. Okay? Remember that.
Yeah, man. Spread joy. Always be learning. If you cannot be a student, you're going to fail.
Dude, the older I get, and I've mentioned I'm a couple years older than you, the more I know that I don't know. Exactly. When I was young, like you and younger, I thought I knew everything. And the older I get, it's like, dude, it's crazy.
We are so small in this world. There's 9 billion people on this planet. And
I think it's 6.7 or 7 billion, the last I heard.
How many people are in the world?
Unless if over in Asia, they're really getting it on.
7.9 billion.
So I was under. So Wheel of Fortune, or
I busted.
The Price of Right. Yeah. I would have won because I was under. The
I busted. So, okay, you win that one.
Yeah, but who's doing that?
Who's doing what?
the consensus on that too. That could be flawed. I could have been exactly right on.
Well, that could have been Dr. Fauci's numbers.
That could have
It
been,
was 9 billion.
That could have been the CNBC numbers for population.
Yeah.
I want to know the Fox numbers.
Yeah, so always be learning, man, because like whenever I make the joke a lot on the show of when I was 18, I knew more than I know now. At 20, how old am I? 25. I knew a lot more at 18 than I do at 25 because I've realized how little I know. And always be learning, man. If you're a leader, don't ever assume that you're just a good leader.
Sponge.
Don't
Be a sponge
be a
too.
sponge.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I think so many people due to technology and stuff like that, they don't want to learn because, I mean, I have the mentality in school. I was like, I can Google shit if I need to. I can look it up in books. But you also have to learn how to learn. But leaders are learners. Leaders are learners. The more you learn, the more you can teach. You can learn something from the bottom rung people. If you think that you know everything there is to know about construction, I guarantee you there's a guy on the crew who just came to work. He's only worked in the industry for a week and he's got different perspectives on things and he can point out some of your flaws.
Yeah.
And you can learn from him.
I don't think I've ever used this word. I'm going to try to use it. And it might sound drunk. You ready?
Serendipity.
Be malleable. How do you say
Malleable.
it? Malleable. Yeah.
Yeah.
So be that. Yeah. Be that where you can kind of like form and,
Yeah.
ever forming.
Yeah, dude. That's the goal, man. You always want
Damn,
to
I butchered that.
Malleable. Some people say malleable, but malleable. Is how I
Yeah.
always
Well, that's what happens when you try to use it for the first time.
always remain a student. I can't remember what the exact age was, but I read at one point, they say you are most teachable between the ages of 0 and 24, or no, 0 and 27, and then like 49 and above is when, or I think it was in the 50s actually. I can't remember the exact age range. But anyways, there's a large gap in there that basically says you think you've learned it all.
Yeah.
So
yeah, I can see that.
yeah. Like whenever you're under 21, you realize like, yeah, I'm new and I'm inexperienced.
Yeah.
But I think 18 to 21, you're kind of a hard-headed some bitch, but you're still learning a lot. But I think that once you get in your mid-20s and into your 30s, that's the most arrogant people I've ever met in my life are typically in their 30s. Because I think that that's just old enough. They've had some success. Maybe they own a business. Maybe they got a hot wife. They've done some stuff so that they haven't been humbled yet.
Yeah, and they don't realize that there's a finite thing to this heartbeat going on inside their body.
Yeah.
When you start realizing that too, I started realizing that in my 40s, man.
Mm-hmm.
That then the perspective changes.
Yeah.
It totally does. Instead of being know-it-all, it's like you kind of revert back, kind of like you're saying.
And I think once you get to be an older person, once you're in your mid to late 60s, 70s, I think that's whenever you realize that like, dang man, there's a lot out there I don't know and the world's changed so much.
Yeah.
But that's whenever it's harder to learn too. But just always be learning, man.
And which we'll talk about more on that on another podcast. We'll go into depth on that.
Are you going to say that after everything I say now?
I've only done it once now, really.
The next one is pass the torch. So give responsibility to those below you. That's not just saying pass it on to the next generation. That's saying those that are below you as a leader, pass it down. Devolve your leadership. Teach the people below you how to be in your position. Take a guy underneath you, mentor him, grow him to where he can take your spot. Show your guys you trust them. Show your guys that I can trust you people to go out. What do you mean you people? I can trust you guys to go out on a job site without me and you can kick ass and take names.
Yep, delegate.
Yes.
Don't be afraid to delegate, especially if you're in a leadership role.
Well, not just delegate, but devolve your leadership. Just teach whoever is under you how to lead.
Yeah.
Make sure everybody knows that they're a leader. And if you send 5 guys, so one thing I hate is whenever you see 5 guys show up to a job site and they're waiting for their foreman to show up and they're just sitting in the truck. They know what needs to be done. They know that equipment needs to be fired up, material needs to be unloaded. They're sitting there waiting for someone to show up. Whereas if that foreman really took initiative and said, hey man, maybe they take 1 or 2 of them under their wing and they say, all right, I'm going to teach you how to do all this stuff. And like, he just tells them, hey, you know what needs to be done. I trust you. Go get the job set up. I'll be there in an hour.
Yeah. There's times that when you show up, you kind of get the small talk out of the way initially. Hey, how's everything? You doing good? Finish this coffee. All right, let's rock and roll.
Yeah. So pass the torch, devolve your leadership, keep going. Next one's own your shit, man.
Accountable.
Yeah. Confess it when you're wrong.
Accountable.
Confess it when you mess up.
That's it, man. I mentioned before, dude. We're flawed. We're human. We all make mistakes, dude. And the easiest way, you've heard before, when you were younger, if you start telling a lie, you don't own your stuff, then you have to do another lie to make up for you. If you just own your stuff, own it, get it out there, yeah, and you might take the hit or the little downgrade at first. People will respect that.
That was the first thing that landscaper ever told me before I went to work for me. He said, if you want to come work for me, that's great, man, but I only have one rule. He said, I don't care how much experience you have. I expect you to have none. I expect you to know nothing. But he said, if you break something, if you steal something, if you do anything wrong, you better tell me. And you better own up to it, because he said, I'm going to fight until I'm black and blue for you. If a customer comes up and says, I think your guy stole my stuff, I'm going to fight for you wholeheartedly.
Yep.
And I'm going to look like an ass if it turns out you actually stole something or broke something and didn't tell me. And he said, so own it. He said, it's okay. And I have told every person I've ever been in charge of hiring this same thing. If you run something over and you accidentally break a tool, no one's going to get you in trouble, man. Just tell us, because I've had it happen before. I got pissed off one time because somebody ran over a remote controller to stoplights, portable stoplights, and we were setting them up for a major highway job. First day, and we're out there, they ran them over in the yard, this control panel 2 weeks earlier in the yard, and we couldn't set the lights up because they ran over that friggin' control panel and didn't tell anybody. They just put it back in the box and tried to get past it. Well, you open the control panel, it's all busted. There's a tire mark on it. You're like, guys, that's when people get in trouble. But if you would have just owned it at the time, like, hey, sorry, I fucked up.
Yeah.
You know, it's a $300 control panel. Like, all right, man, thanks for telling me. That sucks. Be more careful. You use it as a learning lesson, you move on. I mean, I've ran over stuff. I've broken things on trucks. I've hit things. Like, we've all done it, but just own it.
Yeah. Stuff that I've broken in the past or messed up framing or installing, my boss would be like, what in the hell, dude? You broke the stuff. I'd be like, well, I couldn't break it if I wasn't working. I mean, I can sit on my ass, then I won't break anything. I broke it. Damn.
I'm part of a charitable organization, and one thing that they have every year is the biggest screw up award. And they always tell us some funny story, but they always end it with the biggest screw up award goes to this guy as a joke, but also if you're not working, you can't screw up. So it's basically, it's a funny way of giving like a volunteer of the year type award.
Yeah.
So next one is stay humble. I think we've already talked about that on the always be learning, but stay humble. If you're before somebody, don't think you're better than them. I think that's so important in construction, because if you go out on a construction site and you're thinking you're hoity-toity, high and mighty, better than all these people, they're going to fucking eat you for lunch.
Well, with that stay humble deal, whenever I try to train somebody, not to speak rudimentary, but I try to speak literal layman's terms. Not that I think that whoever I'm trying to train is an idiot. I don't want to talk above them. I try to stay that even keel, humble, really speak on a level that they can understand.
Yeah.
That I'm not better than them.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's exactly it, man. You got to stay humble. You can't learn if you're not humble. You can't take criticism if you're not humble. I don't know are some of the most powerful words in the world. If somebody asks you a question and you say, I don't know, I've gained more respect from saying I don't know versus trying to give somebody a roundabout BS answer in this industry and in my life than any other words. If you can use those words, I don't know, whenever you don't know something, then you're doing good. But if you don't stay humble, the world has a way of humbling you. The world, the people in it, the people in this industry, you'll be humbled.
Yeah. What was his name? The Russian fighter for the UFC that retired, that beat Conor McGregor.
Oh, Khabib?
Yeah. I'm going to make you humble. he would always make people, going to make him humble.
Yeah. You got to have humility, man. If you want to be a business owner, the last Friday episode, we talked to Alex Sturza, and what did he say? He said, I grew too big, and a lot of things in my life suffered because of it. Well, why'd you keep growing? Ego. He said, my ego got too big.
But then he said that he spoke with his wife, and she helped get him back.
Well, yeah, but he also said my ego got too big, and that's why he kept doing that shit. And and you listen to a lot of business owners, and I've been there, man. I mean, I've had times where my ego's a little too big, and I think I know it all. And life has a way of kicking your balls.
And I'll straighten your ass out.
Yeah, buddy.
Oh, by the way, did you like my accent for Khabib? It's Dagestani. That was my Dagestani Khabib accent. That's where he's from.
Oh.
I thought it was spot on.
Last one. Execute. Don't wait. Don't procrastinate. Just start moving. If you have an idea, if you have responsibilities, if you have duties, if you have goals, I would say write them down personally, but just organize how you need to do it and just execute. That's what we did on the Dirty and Driven project. I had this idea for a long time, and finally a guy that has helped me get this thing rolling said, you just need to start doing it. I've had ideas for our programs and our courses and stuff like that, or I've had ideas of selling shirts, and it's like, oh man, I just have so much going on. But you just execute. You quit pushing it off. You quit saying I need to make it until it's this or that, or maybe one day I'll start doing it. You just do it, man. Just one foot in front of the other.
Like I think I've heard Damon John say on Shark Tank before. Could be him or one of the 4 other ones or 5. Every single one of us have $1 million ideas. Every single one of us, everyone listening, everyone around us have $1 million ideas.
Yeah.
But executing it and actually acting on that idea, it's very minimal. That's why there isn't a lot of people out there.
Yeah. They say that, just use podcasting, for example. They say that a large percentage of podcasts, people buy the equipment and never record their first episode. They say that 50% or 60%, I don't know the stats. I'm not even pretend like I know the stats. Stay humble, right? But it's a large portion. It's only 10% make it past the first 20 episodes. And then it's only 5% that ever get started make it past the first 50. We're executing, man.
Where are we at?
I don't know, because we have all those half episodes.
Dude, they still count. I mean,
I know.
A 3-minute episode will count. Let's start pumping those out.
Well, I'm following what you're saying. What I'm saying is I don't have a count. I don't know how many episodes we're at.
You're saying they're half-ass episodes?
This is episode, I'm saying it's not 44, 45, 46, 40. It's 44, 44 and a half.
Let's not do 44. Let's not do sublets A, B, and then the integer of...
What I'm saying is I haven't counted all the episodes, Casey, so I don't know how many episodes we actually have.
And whatever that number is, add 2 or 3 that you didn't record on also.
Shut up, Casey.
Got him.
So just execute, man. Just get after it. If you have an idea to start your own construction company,
do it.
Just start, man. Just start somewhere. If you want to get into the industry, quit saying, well, I'm going to wait until this job is this, or I'm going to wait. Dude, just go apply. Just execute. Just go after whatever your goal is. If your goal is to quit being a laborer and you want to be an operator, execute. Work as hard as you can and prove yourself. Just show up every day on time, be reliable, and execute. If you're a business owner and you say, man, I have a problem getting people in the door because nobody wants to work because they all got paid to stay home and they won't stay to work here, and I'm trying to find experienced operators, and dude, execute. It's time to change the leaf and execute. It's time to bring in a new generation. It's time to start passing down the information from the guys that are in here now. And it's time to start forming your businesses and your companies to be more inviting to a new generation. And update this industry and bring it to them. And to do that, you have to execute. If you want to gain, train, and retain people, you have to make a plan that tailors towards them, that puts people up for their own success. I'm not saying you have to pussify everything and you have to be PC and you got to be gender and diversity inclusive and all that bullshit. That's not what the world needs, man. The world and the people in it want to be invested in. They want to be humanized.
They need ass kickers.
Yeah, man. The reason people don't want to work is because they've never had any drive. But if you tell a guy that you're going to get rewarded the more you learn and the more you do, and here's how you do it, you know, you're going to get guys that are willing to do that and girls that are willing to do that. So just execute. And on your end, it takes executing the plan to actually set that up. On their end, it takes them executing to grow. So you're both growing. You're growing because you're investing in your people, and they are growing, which is investing back in your company because they're better employees.
Both of y'all are a direct reflection on each other, too.
Yep. I just posted that on the day that we're recording. Just posted that today. Your people are a direct reflection of their leader. And I said that because a company that we're working with, a good friend of mine, he sent me the same deal. He sent me a Snapchat this morning at 5 a.m, walking in the gym. And he just said, your people are a direct reflection of their leader. He said, I treat my people the best I possibly could. He said, I'm in the gym every day. I'm out there working with them as much as I can. I'm out on job sites. I'm showing face. I'm not living the life I could be living, basically. The lav life. He said, I'm out there pushing, motivating, and investing in these people, making them kick-ass human beings. And he said, that's why I have the best construction crew in the state.
Yeah.
And I agree with him. He's got a hell of a crew.
And even if every single one of those employees aren't doing the same thing that he's doing, I'm sure they're getting some of the rub that he's doing, some of the good vibes that he's portraying.
Right. Well, that's what it is. Well, it's like, dude, the other night, he had them work on a Friday night. It was a night shift because they do building work, but they were working a night shift because it was for a business, and the business said, we can't have you do this while we're
After
running.
hours.
Yeah. So because it was a bank.
Mm-hmm.
And so they worked Friday night, and he said, I'm paying all of my guys double time that volunteered to help. And he said, and he offered them, hey, if you come work the night shift, I'm going to give you double time, whoever wants to help work. And he's like, but I also have a surprise $500 bonus for every single one of them. And they don't even know that. It's like, dude.
That's it, man.
He's got a hell of a crew. And he doesn't have problems finding or retaining people.
Yeah.
And he's not even on social media or anything. I mean, he could find more people. And I've told him, trying to get him to let me run his social media stuff, but different conversation. But yeah, man, that's all of them. That's our core values. That is who we are as Dirty and Driven. That's who I am as a person. It's who Casey is. Except Casey's also gay.
And the talent.
I
introduced myself, so I really didn't have to bring in myself.
Yeah.
The talent was already here.
We should have hired somebody else just to come in and do the intro for us.
There you go. I do like what you've been spitting lately on the gain, train, and retain by entertain. Dude, I like that.
Yeah, dude.
Damn.
Yeah, entertain, man. That's what we do with this podcast.
There you go.
We have fun. We entertain. That's what social media is.
Yeah, and remember, now normally, here's a little disclaimer. We also have a Tuesday episode also, and it's even more laid back, shooting off the cuff. We do talk about a subject, but it's really just James and I shooting the shit, catching up, and talking about sometimes stuff that matters and stuff that doesn't.
Friday, I try to pack with value. Tuesday, I try to pack with entertainment.
Yeah.
And I think we do a good job of that.
I think so.
Some people love the Tuesday episodes. The Friday episodes are where the major numbers are at, but some people only listen to the Tuesday. Some people
we got to get those Tuesday numbers up then.
Yeah. Some people only listen to one. Some people only listen to the other. But I think that we have a niche for any just blue collar person in the industry that likes vulgarness and the measurements of Jenny McCarthy.
38, 24, 34. Did you look it up? Google it.
No, I'm not Googling that.
Do it. I did the other day. Her current measurements now are 38, 24, 35. Her hips are a little bit bigger. They've grown an inch since she was, since that was 96. So do the
Those
math.
hips don't lie.
27 years, her hips have only grown an inch.
I wonder how much they've shrunk through surgeries.
She's all natural, dude.
I'm just kidding. All right.
Oh, another deal on measurements too. If anybody out there has a Sonic around and you get a foot-long cheese coney, bust out that tape measure, put it on there, and snap a pic, send it to attach a Dirty and Driven on there. And it could be just an anomaly that in Ponca City, the foot-long cheese conies are actually 11 1/4 to 11 1/2 inches. They're not actually a full 12 inches.
That's ridiculous.
It's bullshit. But then they'll come out with their little disclaimer and they'll say that, well, no, the 12 inches is pre-cooked weight before we boil that foot-long hot dog. So we need y'all's help on that too.
Well, man, we've been running for 2 hours and 15 minutes.
I haven't ran for shit. I walked to the pisser one time. That was about it.
You ran to the pisser. I saw you running.
I saw you doing one of your rants. I was like, dude, here's the window. And I came back and it was like crickets.
Dude, I have had
And I didn't say rickets. I said crickets.
I've had to use the bathroom. We should have taken a break somewhere because I've had to use the bathroom since before we started. But
Does anybody ever take a dump break during podcasts instead of a piss break?
I needed to, man. I mean, we can always, most people pause it and just say, let's take a break and come back.
Yeah. All right, dude. I got my Malinois, my Golden Doodle, my Weimaraner, my Potbelly Pig Porky. Shout out to Porky. What's up, gang, gang? Our turtle Osiris and our cat Jax. I got to take care of all them and feed them before it gets dark.
I was just told that I bought all dog food and no cat food. So evidently I have to go buy some cat food.
Dude, cats will eat dog food, man. They're all right. They will. At least for tonight. They might have the shits all on your comforters. But
Okay, dude. We're done. Casey, you're the host. Sign us off.
by God.
By God.